Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome,
Welcome,
welcome
welcome.
back, welcome back. So quick,
Yeah, quick turnaround for this one.
uh, lots of lots of epic stuff happening. So we I reached out to Dreamport. I said, "You want to talk about maybe some dragons?" And of
Yeah.
course, I didn't plan this ahead of time that Universal was going to drop some dragon knowledge
Yep.
about the Isle of Berk.
Isle of Berk.
And then we, just plan, not knowing the information on this, is that we had the preview, team member preview information dropped as well, which we'll talk about that in just a second because that's going to be exciting for me. I think it'll be exciting for Dreamport if he has an opportunity from a friend. So we got 5 people in here. Hello, hello,
How's
hello.
it going, everybody?
Yes. So we are here to talk about, if I can find it.
Thanks, Eddie. I had to wear the shirt, the original drop.
In How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, you'll soar with dragons in a colorful world of Viking
That's
adventures.
all lies.
When you walk through the portal into the Isle of Berk, you're introduced to a sweeping view of the island itself, almost right out of the movies.
You'll be able to see some of your favorite characters. You'll be able to see dragons walking around.
Will we? Will we?
We
That's the
apparently
thing.
we will. Apparently, according to that podcast, we are
Yeah.
going to see some dragons walking around. We're going to see some dragon meet and greets. A few of them. So
And possibly some dragons soaring.
that too. That too.
Yes.
And all the color of the dragons has been infused throughout our land.
Except for, it's Florida, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah. They
always
had
looks
to.
beautiful in the artwork.
They have to, you know what? They have that industrial paint. They have to paint everything with in all the parks to make sure it's weatherproof. You can tell when something hasn't been painted that way. I just noticed the other day, sidebar, VillainCon, like the banners on VillainCon on the sign they need to be redone because it's been almost 2 years and they are looking sun faded. It is what it is. It's not something you can really control. Obviously, it's always
It's on
sunny.
that to-do list.
Yeah, it'll be after Epic. After Epic, once Epic's open, then we have it.
Yeah.
Yep, we have dragons. Dragons are back at
I'll
Universal.
be curious the sun setting in which land it's going to look beautiful. That's the thing. Wherever the sun's going to set, I don't know, but
Yeah, I think here we kind of get a little bit. I like with the fly-throughs. I'm not sure if we get it in this, but I know for Wizarding World and Dark Universe, we have fly-throughs that had the sunset kind of built in, and obviously that's a CG render. It's
Yeah.
not an official footage of it, but those look great. I mean, I'm sure it's the way it's all themed and the way it looks is that like regardless, I feel like where you are, it's gonna look great night or day with the exception of one attraction, but
yeah.
that's not in this stream. That's in another land entirely. But
That's true.
yeah, it looks great.
And the reason why I solely thought to get you on here too is because I have zero knowledge of when we're talking about dragons. How they're training dragon. I know nothing about this except for there's a dragon, some Vikings. That's it. Like I don't know any of the characters' names, so I figured you would know a little bit more than me. And obviously, from all the artwork and the details they talked about this land, is there a lot of stuff relating to the movies? Like a lot of details. I think there's just so many little things that I think like these little. I don't know what these characters are. These little baby dragons?
Yeah, those are okay. So I've seen. I remember seeing the first film in theaters, and then I watched the other ones later on. And I need to do a rewatch. I know April mentioned doing a watching both of the films because this is supposed to take place between How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 3. There's a detail that is kind of weird when it comes to that lore. We'll talk about that when we talk about those meet and greet dragons. But when it comes to the general idea of the story, it's meant to be between 2 and 3. So pardon me with the names. I believe these are Gronkles there's a dragon that is an adult version of this that belongs to one of the main characters. I cannot remember all of their names, but I do know the Gronkles. I think that's what they're named. They are a dragon that appears in like sort of the main roster. And those are not going to be the only Gronkles that are going to be in the land. These adult Gronkles are supposedly going to be some of the ones that are going to be flying overhead. Wow. That is confirmed by Universal, again, via that podcast. If you haven't listened to the podcast, I'd recommend doing so. If you're interested in like getting a condensed version, I do have a list of some of the big points here that are made from that podcast episode. But yeah, Gronkles, like a bigger version of these little guys right here, are what I believe we are going to be seeing as one of the flying dragons overhead.
Nice. Can't wait to see them.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I will say out of any of the lands, I guess maybe besides Potter, this is the most, I guess Nintendo too, but like ones that are more based on movies. This is pretty true to the story while also expanding on the lore, which is something they're doing in every land. But a lot of the attractions relate directly to scenes from the movie or aspects of the world that is seen in the films. So we're seeing like Fire Drill here playing right now. We just saw Dragon Racers Rally, which we'll talk about, and of course the Untrainable Dragon, which is going to be more of a story-based thing. Can't wait to see the show.
Nuts. I mean, just like, I don't think I've seen Universal put a show on. I mean, like, most people will say like, oh yeah, Grinch. But Grinch doesn't hold a candle to this.
I think it's closer to something like, honestly, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, but it's closer to something I'd say like Born Stuntacular, where it uses the screen and live action set pieces. Obviously, there's much more puppetry happening here than what we're seeing in Born. Obviously, you could see the puppet dragon here. And that's a big... those are, I mean, and all of the dragons we see in the glimpses of this, it look just phenomenal, and I'm curious to see if that's closer to what we're going to be seeing when it comes to the meet and greets, or if it's something all new altogether. If, again, there's another one we'll get to later that is more animatronic-like, so I'm curious to see if that's more, if they're going to be more animatronic-esque or puppet-esque, or a mix of both. But we're definitely going to see like versions of these dragons in the show. If the show is going to be similar, from what I've read, and from what Universal's kind of said, it's not exactly the same. They did kind of tweak the story to fit within the lore of the current land, because it is different. Obviously, this is attached to a bigger land here, as opposed to in Beijing, where it's like a more standalone. But yeah, interesting stuff here.
That is true. Here. So yeah, I when I see this, I'm just like, this instantly takes me to like they said, a Broadway show, like just in a grand scale, especially like I'm blown away that it is going to be in a theme park. Yeah,
and
that's just amazing.
And it blows me away that I feel like people are sleeping on this, the whole land as a whole, but especially this show, looking at the scale of the show and looking at what else we're seeing in the park. I feel like so many people are more excited for other things, and that's personal, subjective, right? But like when you look at the show, this is something truly next level when it comes to especially the American parks, and I don't think enough people are giving it enough recognition, which is something that I hope changes when when people start to see the land, whether that's via previews or, of course, when the actual park opens.
And so the dragon here, which is the main dragon everyone loves. What's the name?
Toothless.
Toothless. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Are you excited to meet Toothless?
I am excited to meet Toothless. Yeah, just because he's the iconic, figure of the story, and it's a beautiful story that evolves with Toothless and Hiccup, and that's the one thing I will say for people who have not seen these movies. Go ahead and watch them. Yes, it's going to prep you for the world, but it's also just a beautiful story, and you get really attached to these characters because they're so well fleshed out, and they grow up as the series goes on, and to a beautiful ending with the third film. And there's like TV shows and spinoffs and stuff, but the more the main movies. But yeah, I'm excited to meet Toothless. I also know, and this is not really talked about in the video, the meet and greet situation. So we are having apparently 5 different dragons for meet and greets. We are going to have Toothless, which is here pictured with Hiccup. We are also set to have Stormfly, who is the blue dragon we saw earlier with the spikes, who is on stage in the show. Stormfly is the dragon that's connected to Hiccup's love interest, who's Astrid, the blonde. Yep, the one we see right here. Hiccup and Astrid have an interesting relationship that grows with the series as well. But each, as we see them later on, because I guess a pretense for those who've never seen How to Train Your Dragon, it starts as a very vicious Vikings against dragons. Dragons are sort of the pests or the predators, and the Vikings hunt them. But then Hiccup, in an effort to not want to hunt the dragon because he kind of doesn't really have the knowledge to, he befriends Toothless and they start training them. And so
How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon, exactly. And then each kind of main character has a bond with a different dragon. So Stormfly, that blue one, is the bond for Astrid. And then some of the other ones we're seeing, especially the flying ones, are bonded with other characters, the other sort of teens of the island, who are like kind of the main group in the series. So that's just kind of a general gist of it for people who have not seen the movies. Again, highly recommend. But yeah, we have Toothless, Stormfly, which is the name of that blue one, Cloud Jumper, Grump, and the Snow Wraith. Now, the Snow Wraith we've seen in the concept pieces, in some of the concept arts, that big white dragon that looks to be breathing ice. That one is there. But then we have a few other ones. Those will all be meet and greets. Now, we see Hiccup and Toothless, and also Stormfly will be meeting with Astrid. With those meet and greets, those look to be more movement based. Like they'll actually come out of like a stable and you'll be able to meet them. But with some of them, like the Snow Wraith, they look to be like fixed into a position that maybe they come out a lot like we see over in Super Nintendo World with Rambi the Rhino. And with Rambi the Rhino and Donkey Kong, where the doors open up and Rambi comes out, I'm guessing we're going to see something similar, or kind of like Raptor Encounter style, if you're looking more to like current Universal, where they have it behind sort of a wall, whereas those dragons look to be more like Orlando Raptor Encounter, where the Toothless Stormfly look to be more like Hollywood Raptor Encounter, where they actually move around in a fixed area. That's just my guess, though, based on some of the concept pieces. But yeah, we're also going to have some of the villagers, some of the different characters, like Astrid, meeting with the dragons. So it's going to be more than just the dragon meet and greet.
Wow. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Yes, dragons. Man, I don't do well with face characters, but I'll bear the Viking being there just to see the dragon, just to meet the dragon.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a complete package, because it does very much feel like a Raptor Encounter style situation. I keep comparing it to that. Or I know Kima Dog's mentioning the Triceratops encounter they used to have at Islands of Adventure, which is almost like you have sort of like the handler, which would be in this case like Hiccup and Toothless, where we have kind of like the handler for the dragons that are kind of acting like characters who they are in themselves a character, but they're also kind of working with the reactions of the dragons. According to that podcast, Stormfly, at the very least, I'm guessing Toothless will as well, have these sort of vocal reactions that will trigger when guests make certain comments, certain movements. I'm guessing it's going to be a lot like what we see again with Blue the Raptor, or if you're looking at a Disney version, that's the Snow Wraith. That dragon there looks to be like that one. So as you can see, kind of like that wall that I'm talking about. But no, if you're looking at the Disney side with the Mandalorian and Grogu, the way the Grogu kind of moves and coos in response to what's happening with the guest, I'm assuming that those other dragons are going to react a similar way, if not the exact same way.
Man, wow.
Yeah,
And we just talking about meet and greets. That's great. That's just one little teeny part of the whole.
That's one aspect of it. That's one aspect of it, and you could see, and there was a quick little clip of there of the sort of Stormfly meet and greet, kind of going back to my my comment about that and how it sort of connected. But yeah, I'm very excited to see the meet and greet situation. I'm not someone who's big for meet and greets either, just because I'm curious, and this goes for the whole of Epic Universe, because we know a Super Nintendo World, if you've been to Super Nintendo World, even if you've seen videos of it, all the meet and greets are your typical meet and greet. They have designated locations. They come out for X amount of time. They take photos.
Yeah.
It's a timed thing. You get in line. You take your picture. You move along with your day. Even with like Raptor Encounter, it's kind of the same thing, where it's a sort of timed thing. You have to go to a location to do it. Are we going to be seeing, I think some of them we're definitely going to see like that. Others might be a little more unexpected. I'm thinking with the whole of Epic Universe, we're going to see a mix of that, especially if we're seeing Vikings mixing with the dragons. You know, I know we have tons of entertainment coming to Epic Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of performers moving over to Epic Universe. So my guess is that we'll have some other Viking characters. I would love to see some of the other older Viking characters you see in the films. In some capacity, but that's just a want as someone who's a fan of the series. Maybe that can be coming later down the line, but yeah.
So when you first come into the portal, this is how it's going to look.
Yeah, which is it's very much like an Islands of Adventure feel. Like when you walk up to the end of Port of Entry and you reach that point where you reach kind of the shore, and if this is a giant water feature that looks to have so many pieces, but like looking at that, I know there's a tidbit they released about the statues.
Okay.
That the stone statues, according to Universal, they rise 40 feet out of the water. Those giant statues we see here, so they're going to be ginormous. Yeah. It's going to be something that's going to kind of dwarf your size, because we could see these flyovers, but obviously people haven't been. Well, people have been. Some folks have been mock testing some stuff, and of course the actual team members that work there. But like we haven't been on the ground and seen this yet, and I'm sure looking at the size and scale of this compared to everything else, is just going to be massive.
Will there be a wait time for Toothless like they do for the Raptor Encounter?
I'm going to assume yes, just because that will be a very high demand meet and greet. Quite possibly, maybe the most in demand meet and greet in the park. I'm going to put it out there, because if it has that amount of interactability, I don't know if that's a word. If you can, if it's as interactive as Raptor Encounter, or even more so, it's going to be very, very desirable, because, you know, How to Train Your Dragon operates in a great gray area where it's not just for kids, right? Kids are obviously, you know, it's an animated film, it's DreamWorks. Kids are definitely a big pull for this type of IP. Families, of course, but also, you know, folks like me, who I grew up with these movies. I remember when these films were coming out, and people even maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, or just anybody who wants to meet a dragon. Like, that's alone is just such a cool idea, even if you don't care much about the IP.
And the live action movie is going to bring in a whole new audience to want to go to, like, this is what this is based on. Like, let me go to Epic.
Yeah, and I think that's very smart of them releasing the film now, and I wonder if that film does good, which I don't know if it will. We'll have to see. This is the first time we're seeing like a studio outside of Disney doing those live action remakes of animated movies, especially one that is not that old. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon is only about 15 years old, which considering some of the other ones like Lion King, Pinocchio, Dumbo, that are much
Shrek.
much older. Shrek even. I mean, Shrek is even older than How to Train Your Dragon, and How to Train Your Dragon is also 3D animated, which so it already looks like when you watch this, you're like, you know, because it obviously is playing more to the animated style. But Toothless looks very similar in live action versus animated. You see it with the puppet, you see it with the you know, obviously it's going to see when you see the meet and greet. But yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, that'll definitely be a pull once that is released. And if it's successful enough to warrant sequels, because obviously there were 3 animated films. So would we see multiple sequels? And would that then be a pull for this IP, because this IP on paper kind of sounds a little weird. You're like, the series ended like 8 years ago, so we're not like coming up on a new one outside of the live action. Like Shrek is getting a new film, right? And Shrek's got a lot of pop culture appeal. But either way, looks great. Like just this flyover, and this is the biggest land in Epic Universe.
Wow.
Of
I
the
did
single,
not know that.
yes, of the 4 lands, I believe this is over 100 acres. That I could be wrong on that number, but it is bigger than all of the other 4 lands. I mean, Celestial Park might be bigger, but that's also got the hotel and it's got the other part. It's basically the connecting tissue. So like if you're not counting that, but yeah, here we have Dragon Racers Rally. Fun. Are we gonna ride this one, Zombie Chris?
That is a no. Absolutely a no. I have no interest in riding.
Yeah.
Are you excited to ride that?
I think it'll be okay, so I'm someone who I've lived in Florida my whole life. I haven't really gone to a lot of theme parks outside of Florida. I've gone to I went to Universal Hollywood, but that's still like Universal Disney, SeaWorld, Legoland, right? And I believe this is the first one of these style of attraction that is coming to Florida. It is a what's called a Gerstlauer Skyfly. If I'm pronouncing that correctly. They have them at like Mall of America and the other like regional parks. I've never been to those parks, so I've never experienced one of those. But yeah, I can see Ash. Ash wants to ride. I would like to ride it as well. Maybe one time. Maybe that's not something I do every single time, but definitely want to check it out because I'm not someone who does well with spinning. But the thing is with that ride is you can kind of control. It's like the teacups at Disney, or even if you're talking Universal. I don't know if Stormforce.
Except for 10 times scarier.
Yeah. Except you're like 50 feet in the air while that's happening. But yeah, with that one, I'm pretty interested.
Wrong one.
Nope.
So,
we'll talk about that one in a bit because that one I have thoughts about. Also, I'm just letting everybody know in the stream. I don't know if Chris plans on talking about like things he's hyped about, but I have a hype list video coming soon, so you'll see where these all place in the hype list. That'll probably be coming out probably tomorrow. It's almost done. Yeah, always have to. But yeah, like Dragon Racers Rally, and then oh man, Hiccup's Wing Gliders, man. Looks like such a phenomenal coaster because it's the next kind of step for a Hagrid style ride where it's a flying around the atmosphere with this very beautiful setting. But let's go back to Dragon Racers Rally.
Just a point here. When I was staring at the web page for this, how it does the little loop, loop of the recording. I did not notice the little animal on the left, which I don't know. Like he's moving his head in the actual loop, the loop of on the web page. So I'm wondering, it's on the bottom left.
Is it like in that pen?
Yes.
So those
I don't
are
know
like
if it's supposed to be a goat or
they're sheep. So that's a thing that's in the land. In the movies, the sheep are kind of like the actual critters of Berk, and the dragon and the sheep have fun little banter. And they're gonna use the sheep. I'm sure the sheep are gonna be kind of like little hidden. In Nintendo Land, we have hidden Pikmin. So for those who have played the Pikmin games, they're a favorite of Nintendo's. Kind of I don't want to say underrated, but they're like little. It's not like super well known, but they're like little guys, and they hide them. They're hidden across Super Nintendo World. They're hidden in different places, and you kind of have to look for them. So my guess is maybe we're gonna see some hidden, not hidden sheep in Isle of Berk. That'll be kind of an interesting spots in the land, whether that's around the area, on the attractions, But yeah, the sheep. My guess is that they'll be either statues or they're going to be very simple animatronics.
And then, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. With Dragon Racers Rally, I think it's one of those things that it could be one or the other. It could be a very crazy, but yeah, I feel like kids will be scared for Dragon Racers. Vanessa, I think that it'll depend. I think it's one of those things that will be will appeal to some. I feel like it's more meant for older kids, as kind of like it's a very highly themed flat ride, which is amazing that we're getting at Epic Universe, because yes, while I love our dark rides, love our coasters, love our big ticket attractions, you need some highly themed flat rides. And we have some in the current parks, like Storm Force, like what we see. I don't know if I wouldn't count Roller Coaster, because that's not really like a flat ride. Storm Force, definitely. Pteranodon Flyers, is that really like a flat? I don't think that's like a flat ride, because it's I don't know. I don't know if we can technically consider it a flat ride. Carousel, One Fish, Two Fish. I guess if you're thinking in that respect. So we have a few flat rides that are nicely themed within the areas they're in. But like when you think of highly themed flat rides, you're thinking more of like a Disney thing. Teacups, Carousel, Dumbo. All those rides you see across the Disney parks, and the many different clones we see of each one. I like that we're seeing with Constellation Carousel. I'd even argue with Fire Drill is kind of almost like a highly themed flat ride, even though it is a water ride, the only water ride at Epic Universe. But it is still in that highly themed. So like, I think some young kids might be a little scared, or it could be a good like first thrill ride for a lot of young kids that may go on it and like, I kind of want to do something a little bigger than just Yoshi's Adventure. So
that is true that all the lands have, well, not all of them, because Dark Universe certainly doesn't have.
They're throwing you in the
anything
deep
for
end in
kids.
Dark Universe. Yeah, they're not holding your hand in that one. But yeah, I'm excited, and I think Dragon Racers Rally is also attached to a playground, or there's one next to it that's going to be more, and that's something not really been talked about, because it's not really meant for. It's not like an attraction, it's just a playground. But I'm glad they have that as sort of like an option if in the event that your kid is maybe too scared to ride Dragon Racers Rally, or, they want to do both. I don't know what the height requirement for this is, but in that kind of aspect, you have those two connecting. In that, I think this is the most friendly land for kids out of all the lands in the park. Super Nintendo is up there too, but I know for me, it can kind of be a lot in Super Nintendo World. And I feel like this is a little more approachable.
So there you go. For that's what I was talking about. On the left, you can see, I guess you said the sheep moving around, which is just, it's like just the littlest details where I've stared at this screen for so long, but I've never even like paid attention to that. And I was like, wait a minute, something's moving his head. Whoa.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that, obviously with DreamWorks Land, we saw the Pinocchio animatronic in the playground. So I'm hoping maybe we get to see a couple spread. I mean, it's not very complex motion, right? It's not something they need to worry about too much about animating. But I do hope we do see something like that. A lot of those look like static figures, which is okay. I mean, all of it adds to the theming. But if you have a couple animatronics here or there, maybe that's embellished for the video, or maybe that's something a little more like specific of that's what we're going to see. All right, so I'm not sure where this video will take us next, but that's Dragon Racers.
Yep. Which I'm not going to do. You're sold on it once.
Yeah, and that's the playground. That's what I was talking about.
Okay,
that's
so that's
connected.
The playground. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of outside of Dragon Racers Rally.
Wow.
Similar kind of theme.
That's neat. It's pretty big.
Yeah, and it definitely reminds me of what we saw with DreamWorks Land, and I'm sure we're going to see more like that, where it's fairly highly themed play area, more shots of wing gliders, which is kind of the anchor. I'd say the anchor attraction behind what do you call that? Untrainable, and then I guess you go to Mead Hall. I guess they're showing Mead Hall a little bit, so maybe that could be the next place we go.
Go to Mead Hall.
Sure, let's talk about Mead Hall.
So that's the official name of it. Mead Hall.
It's Mead Hall. So it's mead like the drink, like MEAD, and that is going to be the main dining location inside of How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. Do you have the menu pulled up? I can pull up it quick.
Yes.
Oh, you do. You're better than I am. They revealed some of the preview of what that would look like, what the food is going to be served at Mead Hall.
So which is crazy to think because I don't think Universal has had barbecue in a while. Like the last
Yeah.
time I think I've seen them kind of have barbecue was Monsters Cafe, and it really wasn't handled to be like good barbecue. It was, theme park food barbecue.
It was serviceable.
Yeah. And I think it had like jackfruit was the
Yes.
vegan alternative, but this time they stepped it up. We have just a wild array of food that's going to be all featured here. This is like the main restaurant that you're going to go to. You have so many different things. You got your salmon, you got salads, which is like a more of a harvest. So it's got berries in it, more of a like a fruit salad almost. And then this one right here, I know this. I was thinking about this, and I was like, "Am I gonna have to get this?"
Yes,
It
you
doesn't
have to get that.
seem like it is that like wildly great. It just seems like a very basic dessert, but
It's a
because of the way
presentation
it
dish.
looks, you know what it
Yeah.
made me think of? It's like when I go to Minions Cafe and I get the pet rock. Like it's that thing that you gotta get. Like you always call it the Instagrammable snack. It's the social media snack, and people are going to definitely have this, pictures of this on their social media.
Yeah, like this is the sort of the photo food, the photo dish. And I think it's interesting, looking at Epic Universe, and this is something, again, one of those things that applies to the broad of Epic Universe, regardless of what land you're talking about. There's so much food that is designed for that, because what we're seeing with this park is the first time in a new theme park that food is a priority. It's not just going to be your basic burgers, hot dogs, pizza, chicken fingers, nothing against that. I'm sure there'll be a place for that at Epic Universe. Well, more probably towards Celestial Park. And in the lanes, I know they each have their own like kind of grab and go options that'll probably be more basic, but this is very like hearty food, exactly what I was expecting. So this dish right here is called the Thaw Fest platter, and it's got tender chicken drumsticks, wild berry barbecue glaze, grilled salmon, succulent sausage with roasted carrots, onions, fries, and side sauces. This looks like the great feast we see over at Hogsmeade. Or Diagon Alley.
Yes.
I think it's
something
at Diagon
you
Alley.
get, and you're going to feed the family.
You can split. Yeah, this is probably like a 40 or $50 item. That is not just meant for one person. I mean, if you're one person and you can handle it, It's funny because that chicken, what looks to be the chicken on the right, or maybe that's the salmon. It looks like it has a very similar sauce to, or like a glaze to what we saw with the pinchos at HHN. Like it looks like those ones. Which if they saw that worked and brought it over, I would be getting this just for that. But yeah, that's the Thawfest platter. They had that Sullen Sea sandwich, which is that salmon sandwich that was that Chris showed earlier. That's gonna be salmon with horseradish, and then they had that salad, and then the fish, which is like a chocolate mousse fish. So those are just a few of the selections at Meat Hall, but expect very like hearty, barbecue-esque food, because as you mentioned, like barbecue is a relatively new food type to come to the theme parks. Really, Disney has just kind of started with barbecue. I really wouldn't say like with Regal Eagle being the first, like I think pretty much exclusively barbecue restaurant that they've opened there, and that was back in 2020 when they opened that. And that is so not very long ago, and I'm waiting to see Universal's version of barbecue. Obviously, we're seeing it with Oak and Star, but this is going to be like, I feel like a mix of that with also the Three Broomsticks kind of vibe you're getting, like that kind of hearty, like I said, Viking-esque. I want to be able to get like a turkey leg or something and just like have this huge thing and like a big like glass of ale, and then like that's what you expect from a place like this. So that would be something that you would expect to see. But a lot of the food looks good here. Really, the theming is kind of themed to the dining hall we see in the movie, which I don't know if it's called Meat Hall in the movie. I don't know if it's named, but it is kind of that, that style at least if it's not exactly the same, it is look to be very similar to the ones we see. HHN Hollywood, oh, yeah, they have it over there. I'm more meaning for Universal Orlando, because Universal Orlando doesn't really have barbecue options. Like I said, outside of Monsters Cafe, maybe some stuff seasonally for HHN. But yeah, HHN Hollywood has more of the barbecue stuff out there. But yeah, Universal's just, I mean, in general, I feel like Universal Orlando is just kind of getting started doing new, like, different styles of food. We're seeing it with Minions Cafe. We saw it with Circus McGurkus. We're going to see it here with Epic. I'm sure we'll see it more with the other restaurants come the next few years, that we're not just getting the same basic options that we used to get. You know, obviously, if you want to go there, Mel's is for you, right? That's going to be your place for that. If you want to get burgers and hot dogs and stuff like that, Louis for pizza. Again, no problem with that. Most days, like, yeah, that would be what I'm into. I'm not looking to get something crazy. But if you want that sort of dynamic dining experience that's going to be this, you know, larger than life looking hall, like, this thing looks so huge, tall ceilings, giant chandeliers. I'm sure just a very lively tavern style atmosphere. It looks great. Looks great.
Yeah, the artwork on it is just nuts. Like, when we walk in and it looks like this, it's gonna be like they did it. Like, like, I just love the artwork on the wall, the little details, like just the patterns, the artwork, everything.
Yeah, and lore wise, I'm not sure if we see this mead hall outside of the first movie, so this might be a new look at it. Than we get with the original film, but yeah.
And then the other, because it's not just that one. So that's a quick service, and then there are two other ones that there are. You got the Hooligans. Grog and Gruel. Which is more the snack. So this is more of a snack beverage type of one. It's not a quick service, so it's not like a dining, like sitting in and eating. At least as far as we know.
No, it is just I think it's attached to Dragon Racers Rally, from what it's looking like it's going to be themed. And from the website, it says they're going to have mac and cheese cones, which is very exciting, because that's very much like a Disneyland, like Cars Land, I think about when I think of that item. So I'm excited to see how that is, if that's something like you're going to carry around, like you do over there. Because we have a cone here in Circus McGurkus, but that's like an actual plated item. So I'm curious. But yeah, I'm sure they're also going to have Grog and Gruel. Sounds a lot like you're going to have some, you know, quick to go, you know, some food, maybe whatever,
drinks, maybe?
Some drinks.
Something like for the kids.
I'm hoping, based on from what, I don't know if it's been like officially revealed what they would look like, but from what I understand, we're also supposed to be getting some like specialty cups and like fun vessels for the beverages. Either at the restaurants or at these. So that'll be an interesting one. And then there's one more restaurant or dining location,
and that is the Spitfire Grill, which is another quick service restaurant. No word on what it looks like, but I am interested in this one.
Yeah, this, I think, because Universal are on their own, I feel like they categorize things as quick service when you're closer to table, like Three Broomsticks. I wouldn't necessarily categorize that as a quick service.
Yeah.
Because it's more like a table service, but like it's kind of in between. They operate in a weird gray area. I think this is going to be your much more typical quick service, like small kind of restaurant. It's not as much like, I don't want to say it's not themed, but it's more like themed to be like a quick service restaurant versus Mead Hall, which looks a lot more like table service. And according to the website, it's talking about delicious helpings of greens, grains, or rice topped with a variety of meats. So I think we're going to be seeing something like we see over with Satuli Canteen and Pandora, where it's
that was
like
exactly my same thought.
I was trying to remember the name.
Be like a bowl.
Yeah, where it's like bowls, which is it again. It's another interesting option. Satuli Canteen is great with that, where like you can kind of have a choice of which one you want. It also seems like a little healthier than some of the other options we see at Epic Universe. A little more based on that. Not saying there's any necessarily like healthy food. It's a theme
Yeah.
park, but like it's got greens and grains versus like just like super fried stuff. So that's just what I'm basing on what we're seeing here. But yeah,
And it does say a helpful unseen dragon fry cook, which
Yeah.
I think it's just playing it up.
oh, I'm sure they could do some really fun stuff with that, like maybe having like sounds in the restaurant. If this is a quick service, we actually go in and sit down. It could be like fun sounds, or maybe like some shadow projections or something like that to really sell it. A lot like what we see with Toadstool Cafe, where you have the windows that are just screens, but they're windows to make it feel like you're like looking out into the Mushroom Kingdom, which I think could be kind of cool for this.
Yes. I'm ready. I'm hungry.
Yeah, yeah.
The most generic way.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it fits with like the land aesthetic of the colors and stuff.
Sure. And it looks like a lot of these logos are very much like kind of deviations of the same logo. They look like the same fonts and everything like that. So, that's just, yeah. I don't really have any kind of like strong opinions on it one way or the other. But yeah, I can see that.
Then, so those are your food options in the land. Out of the three, if you only have time for one, it's got to be the main one, right?
It's got to be the main one, although the menu of the Grog and Gruel, those mac and cheese cones, sound interesting. That sounds more interesting to me than what I see on the menu at the meat hall. Although, like I said, these are not the full menus. These are just the little preview. So I'm not going to make any assumptions yet. Obviously, meat hall is aesthetically, yes. Although it depends. But yeah, meat hall is like the main dining area. It's not like others where I have a harder time deciding.
Yeah. Because the one factor for that for me, it's like if you go to the main one, you're gonna get probably a big size meal or decent enough that you're gonna be full. And if you're if you're trying to just do as much as you can, that's not gonna work to go there and do that. Because you're probably gonna want to go to maybe just get the dessert there, the fish, the mousse, but then maybe you get that cone and you walk around to kind of maximize your time.
Sure. Yeah, and I think like I said, I'm not like I said, compared to the other lands, I'm not as wowed by the food here. Nothing against it. I don't think it's bad or anything. I just think like out of all the lands and the food, like that's not necessarily what's attracting me. I'd rather go eat at Dark Universe or Harry Potter or Nintendo than eat here. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of the cone thing, kind of being quick grab and go. You can walk around and see what happens. So we'll see. We'll see when we go to the park. So.
And then the next, so we can switch back to, I assume, the rides?
Yeah.
Two rides left.
Yeah, 2 rides. Although I do want to have a quick little blurb on the merch situation because they haven't really talked about the gift shop. They named a couple of them. We know How to Treat Your Dragon is something that's coming. I'm guessing that's going to be like a candy store or something like that. Or maybe a little store with some like, what do you call that? I'm blanking on the name. What they put in the tribute store, like a cooler, not like a cooler, like a
like the
case, like a case. Yeah, I don't know why that took forever, but I'm guessing we're gonna see like a case of like maybe some pre-made cookies and cakes and whatever that kind of have to do with the dragon lore, which is interesting. Also, we do know there's going to be a gift shop with sort of dragon toys. I think that's going to be attached to wing gliders, and then. Yeah, I think there's like another one, but I can't remember the specific names. Let me look them up real quick.
Yeah, I imagine there's going to be tons of. Obviously, they're already selling right now. some of the preview merch that we see in Stella Nova. Lots of plushes, popcorn buckets. Obviously, they brought that back. Lots of expensive figures.
Yeah, and they're really going in on the merch game, but I think we're gonna see. My guess is we're also gonna see maybe. I mean, going back to Pandora, they have the banshees that you can adopt and you can buy and you wear them on your shoulder. I could see a dragon thing where you like can adopt your own dragon and take it around the land. Maybe it interacts with different areas of the land, like you have with the Super Nintendo bands or the wands, where it maybe has some kind of RFID technology that can kind of talk with the different areas of the land. That would be something I would love. And those are, it's a merch opportunity. But right now we have a store called Viking Traders, How to Treat Your Dragon, which is the one I just mentioned, Hiccup's Workshop, which I think is going to be the one that is going to be attached to the ride, and then Toothless's Treasures. So those are the 4 gift shops we know are coming to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. Again, like Chris said, we're already seeing some of the merch in the parks, Preview Center, Stella Nova. There are going to be more merchandise. You're going to be able to get some How to Train Your Dragon stuff if you're interested in that. But yeah,
I don't believe we've seen anything of pins, right? Yet.
We have pins because
Okay.
I bought a pin. There's a pin that has the artwork and it says Isle of Berk on it. I know we also have some toothless pins. They showed some quick shots of the gift shops in the main video, but like other than that, we don't know much about them. I just thought it was interesting to bring it up now before we get back into the main rides, since we're talking about other experiences outside of rides.
True. And there's one more thing that I don't think we were thinking to mention. But keeping with the general theme of How to Train Your Dragon is widely popular. Universal, for some reason, and I have a slight gripe with this.
Oh boy.
I don't know why. Maybe you'll explain this. Why did they choose in the brand new hotel to introduce the kid suite for How to Train Your Dragon? There's a kid suite. Me personally, I would have loved maybe a Super Nintendo one. Maybe you put the Nintendo Switch like kiosk that you see at like Walmart or GameStop in the room. That would have been kind of neat. But they chose How to Train Your Dragon.
So my guess is that it was easier to get licensing wise, because Nintendo is a third party and everything that Nintendo does, that's a great photo because I don't know if I've seen this. Everything that Nintendo does with Universal is through Nintendo as well. Obviously Nintendo's very, very strict about their IP, a lot like with Potter. So that's why I don't think we will see, unless they really have a better relationship than they do with Potter.
Side, they could have done, like, you take the idea of like a kid suite, you flip it on its head, and you make the adult suite, which I know that sounds kind of adult.
No, you
do
theme your
the
rooms.
Universal Monsters creepy like adult suite. You don't have to do like 10 rooms of this, just like 3 or 4 rooms.
Yeah.
It's going to be creepy-esque. It's going to have some like really, I don't know, weird like shadow stuff. I don't know. They could have just went really off the wall with the adult dark universe type of room. Tell me how many people in the chat would have booked something like that, especially like Horror Nights weekend. You stay in that suite. Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have been interested. I mean, that would definitely sell, considering a lot of the hotels are very like clean and nice looking. If you would have done like a really like disheveled like gothic, creepy hotel, very
Almost
much like a
you're
Frankenstein's
staying in
Manor,
the castle or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think that would have been a great way to do it. Thinking about a Universal Monsters room, I think it would have been great. And it's not nobody. I know people would say, oh, like it's meant for kids, but like not really. It's just a themed hotel room at the end of the day, right? Like obviously, they have the Minions ones and they have this one here coming to the. This is for Helios, right?
Yes. Helios.
So yeah. I mean, I'm not. I'm not shocked at all. That'd be great. That'd be a great idea. I just think like I said, for Potter and for Nintendo, licensing is too much of a thing. That's why I don't think we're gonna see a Nintendo hotel. So I don't think we're gonna ever see a Harry Potter hotel. Although it would be wonderful. I think it could be excellent money opportunity, but I don't think we'll see it.
And it doesn't mean that they could not theme a room down the line at one of the hotels. Maybe they do a remodel and they say, this is the Monsters room at Cabana Bay. I mean, they could easily do this now that Epic is here and open. I have a feeling we might see something themed. Well, no, because you just said Nintendo, so that's gonna never mind.
That's just a guess, though.
I was going to go the route of something that could be coming to the parks in the future. That could be a kid suite.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely depends. Like, I'm not going to be someone who's going to outwardly say no. I just don't think that would be something they go for. I also
That's why they don't do a Potter hotel. Everyone wanted a Potter hotel. But
you could go into this comment by Albert talking about, do you trust Universal to theme hotel better than Disney? I think if they were to handle a Harry Potter Star Cruiser type experience, that would be the perfect IP to do it with, although I don't think they would. But I'm not going to say one way or the other, because I will say, because they're not Universal owned hotels, they are run by Lowe's.
Yes.
So Lowe's has very specific, like I think Stella Nova. Yes, like looking at Stella Nova, it's themed, but it's not themed too much. And I think with Disney, because they have full control, they can go all the way on theming. But like with theirs, I don't know if they would have that same kind of capacity to do so.
But yes, that is a live look at the Kid Suite. It looks nice.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's got, Toothless. I assume the white dragon's what you were talking about.
Yeah, so this is the Light Fury. Toothless is what's known as a Night Fury. This is a Light Fury. This is where it gets complicated with the lore because of the fact that doesn't get introduced until the third movie. But they can't not have the Light Fury in there. That's the thing. Also, this is not related to anything at all. Is my camera okay? Can everybody see my camera? Is my camera just like blurry or slowed down? Because I just wanted to make sure. I want to make sure the Vine thing is...
No, as far as I can see, it looks... There we go.
Okay, your camera's back. Because your camera was frozen, and usually that means my camera's actually frozen.
Oh.
So your camera was frozen there for like a few minutes. But we were in an intense discussion, so I didn't want to sidebar.
I think it was good.
But yeah, no. But yeah, definitely I like that they're doing that. But yeah. The Night Fury and Light Fury thing, especially when it comes to one of our meet and greet characters that hasn't been confirmed yet, that we've seen footage of, aerial footage, is a character we don't see until later on. Oh, it was blurry? Okay. Is it better now, or is it still blurry? Because now it feels like it's moving. I'm beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. The blurriness is that's just a part of the vibe. I can't have everything. I can't have
Speaking of what you were talking about, this is sort of spoiler-esque. Pretty much everything else has been obviously promotional stuff by Universal. So not really spoilers, but yeah, when I saw this thing, I was like, what am I looking at? I thought literally it was a person in a suit. I literally was like, okay, yeah, they put a person in a suit. That's
okay.
Cool.
Thank you, Ash.
But no, when you informed me that this thing is animatronic, I was like,
it looks to be an animatronic. Now, I wonder if it's going to be like how they're doing with how they do with Grogu, going back to Disney, where they have like an iPad, or they have like a little, I guess not really an iPad. Which one? I guess there are other characters that are more like actually done by an iPad. Grogu, I think, is done by a little like hand clicker thing that the Mandalorian character has. Sorry, I'm ruining your character spoilers. If you come in a stream, we're not having any. Cannot come after us. Cannot say we ruined your childhoods or ruin anything. But anyway, but this character looks to be Dart, which, and this is another spoiler, this is one of the children of Toothless and the Light Fury. You already ruined it, Chris. But yes, Toothless and the Light Fury, that's something we don't see until the end of the third movie. This is one of the baby dragons. So they this is kind of a spoiled thing. Not spoiled, but like this is something that doesn't go in with the lore.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it looks cool. And I wonder if we're going to see this. They haven't confirmed this. Nobody said anything about this outside of this video. That was by Wesh. So unless Universal sent Wesh a cease and desist and they're like, take that down after it's already gone around. I don't know if we're seeing this with the land. I don't know if this is a later expansion. I don't know if maybe we see these characters come later on down the line. Obviously, they're still testing it.
Yes,
So,
this animatronic.
but like, yeah, look at that. That's what I'm curious because I wonder if this is what we're gonna see for Toothless and Stormfly, where it's gonna be actually like that, where it's like this is such an advance. Like that looks like something they could shoot for the live action movie.
And even in the beginning, the clip, it looks so funny because the person with the hard hat, it looks like they're actually talking to like a dragon, like you know how you would talk to a dog, like sit, look up here.
Yeah.
It looks like they're talking to the dragon as if it's real. And he's like, you see that camera? You see that helicopter?
Yeah.
He's like pointing right at it.
Also, Albert, hopefully you weren't looking at the kid's suite photo because it had more spoilers in there. If you haven't seen the movie, it's been out for 8 years, so I'm only saying that. I don't know if this is a serious comment or if this is a joking one, but if it is a joking one. I only spoiled one part.
You didn't spoil when Toothless dies. No, I'm joking. I've never seen the movies. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Well, actually, that's a great point to bring up. Do it with Jonkies. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that if Shrek was an IP like that, I think honestly, if they were to do Dronkies, it would look more like what we saw with the baby Gronkles in the ride, which I don't know. These words do not sound like real words that I'm saying right now. But that's what they would look, because they're a little small. Like this is a big.
It
like,
looks really big. Like and the way it moves, the way it blinks its eyes, like I'm just like, wow, Universal. This 1% of what Epic has. Like,
yeah, if this is one thing, and like I said, I'm curious if this is something that will actually appear in the land as it opens, or is this something they're testing now to appear later down the line? Because it looks like it's ready. Like it looks like you could obviously see it looks like a finished figure, and that makes me very curious what those animatronics are going to look like in the attractions. That's what gets me because if this is the level of animatronics we have walking around, what are we going to see on those rides? What are we going to see in
Dark Universe?
That's what I'm saying. Monsters Unchained, the Battle of the Ministry, even Wing Gliders, which I'm potentially might have some animatronic action in there based on the concept art, based on the model we see at Epic Preview Center in City Walk. So,
well, since we talked about that, you spoiled something. So
what did I spoil? I gotta stop talking. I'm just gonna.
I will also do a little spoiler.
Just kidding. I'm done with the stream because I spoiled everything. Albert, I would say it's not a big spoiler or anything. It's just like it's something that appears. It's not gonna like ruin anything from the movies for you. But yeah, I completely forgot that it happened. I forgot that was a part of it until I saw this, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that character. But yeah. Anyway, you said spoiler. What are you spoiling?
Oh,
what am I spoiling?
I'm gonna just slightly spoil part of the show, just so you can see the
Oh,
show. I'm not gonna spoil anything that happens
Untrainable.
in the show, but
The stage show.
yes, I saw this clip because I haven't looked up anything on like believe it or not, even though we're content creators, I've stayed clear. I don't look at anything bioreconstruct. I don't look at any aerial stuff. Sorry, I know people are loving that stuff. I stay clear. If I see it in my timeline, I scoop right past it. So I want to just remain as away from the reality until I see it in person. Now, one thing when we were at Stella Nova and I was looking across the park, across the parking lot, and that's seeing it with my own eyes, even though it's the backside, it's still like it was just magical, to
Sure.
not just see everything be a helicopter shot and just to see,
Sure.
So I try to remain clear. But this thing, like I clicked on it just to see in preparation for this, and I was like, wow, the grand scale of this theater. And I'm assuming this theater is pretty much going to be in line with our theater. Just so you can see the sheer scope of things. Like, I'm assuming the theater's big. It's going to feel like you're going into an actual theater and not just like what you do with, well, I guess similar to Blue Man Group, but maybe a little bigger.
It is going to be a big when you go to the Epic Universe Preview Center and you see the model, you could
building,
see
yeah.
how it in relation to everything else.
And I'm
Because with
assuming they might let us record.
I would hope so. But also like this is also Beijing, so like it's different
Yeah,
rules
that's
over
true.
there.
That's
But
true.
but the one thing about this is that this is not a pre-existing theater like what we see with Bourne or I guess Waterworld, but that's not really a theater, that's an outdoor sort of experience. But this is not Bourne where you have to fit inside the Terminator theater. This is an all new theater they're building from the ground up that doesn't really have any sort of anything behind it or didn't have anything behind it. They had the full capacity to build this full theater, and it's a large scale theater. And I'm glad you didn't show
No.
any more.
Yeah. Because I cut the clip off directly
Yeah.
when something happens. I was
There's
like,
there's a
no,
part that
I'm not going to show
happens
that. I'm
that
not going to show that.
if you're familiar with the show, you'll know what it is. I will say because with the videos, it's sketchy. I know with my video, I have some footage of stuff that is already out there, like in terms of this and the Nintendo ride. Anything that I have when it comes to this is all promotional stuff they already put out. Beijing put out. Just to let anybody know that is if you're trying to avoid all spoilers, maybe skip that section of the video. But that's just because like there's no other way to really bring context to my points outside of that. But my point in saying all this is that I think the show is going to be very big. I think it's going to be grand. I think it's going to be that show for the park where it's going to be the show of the park, and I hope it surprises. I feel like everybody who sees it in Beijing has said it's wonderful and it's amazing and it's incredible. I can't wait to see it. I don't know if that's something I'm going to do right away. And I'm sure we'll talk about that when we talk about game plans and stuff like that and get into preview talk. But this is not something I'm going to do right away because this does seem like it is a lengthy experience. But I think if it's something that you want to see and have time to see, I think it'll be one of the biggest attractions in the land.
Wow. Yeah. I really. So for those, don't hate me in the comment section. So
Uh-oh.
I'm not the biggest horror makeup fan. I do enjoy watching Bourne a bit more. But I do hope that I walk out of the show and be like, man, I loved every part of it. I love if they sing the musical parts, if there's I just love the show. I hope that's what I walk away and not being like, oh yeah, it's cool visuals. Like I'll watch it like once in a blue moon or watch it with a group. But I really hope it is that one that I'm like, man, I enjoyed that. Like I want to, when we have passes to the park, like experience that, like I do for Bourne. So I'm hoping that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping so too. And I hope it's not one that you see it once and it's like, okay, I saw it.
Yeah.
I have no reason to return to this. And I think the performers will make that. Just like any show with Bourne, with Waterworld, with horror makeup, the performers make those shows. I mean, in any case, but especially with those, it makes you want to come back and watch them again and again and again. But yeah. Also, hello Emily, welcome to the stream. Should do a How to Train Your Dragon watch party.
Hello.
Yeah, I would get copyrighted to hell on that one, but yeah, we'll watch it privately and we'll discuss to the point where we don't get our channels taken down for that.
That's true. Be
but-
done. Be like,
yeah.
nope.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, I don't know if it'll be a right away thing I do, but I do want to see it. And I think I'm not a huge show guy. Really, horror makeup is the only show I go back to at Universal because it's so different every time. But with Bourne and Waterworld and I mean even Animal Actors, they're still fun shows. Like I don't hate them. Bourne, I think the one thing for me is it takes too long. Like it's such a long experience from pre-show. The pre-show's way too long. I'm sorry. Pre-show for Bourne is entirely too long. It's like almost 10 minutes long. And
It is.
yeah, the show itself should speak for itself. Is why we don't need to see it again. But
And so, back to the ride. Now,
Right.
we're saving. We have two,
yeah,
and
let's go.
we're obviously going to save the big one.
Let's go to the small. Let's go to the other smaller ride for Dragon. How to Train a Dragon, which is one that I'm curious about. I don't know if it's one that I'm super hyped for, but like I'm not like jumping out of my seat for this one. But I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun for certain times of year, and it's this one right here, Fire Drill.
Fire Drill, which is featuring a lot of the water that is in the mainland. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is water that was saved from Jaws. And they moved, they bottled it up and they brought it over here and they're like, we're going to bring this back and use this again. Right? Isn't that what happened? Isn't that what they did?
Yeah. That's a lagoon
Okay.
water.
Exactly. They put it in a giant vat and a giant vault and they're like, we're going to just open it and fill this lagoon up with the Jaws water.
And so, are these boats? Am I assuming that these boats don't have someone on them, or is it just you? Like,
It's just the guest.
okay,
So I believe because they're also looks to be standing. It looks like there's no height requirement for this either. So that's another win for young kids. Like I said, you have the playground. I believe Yoshi's, if it does have a height requirement, it's very, very low. And this one I believe has no height requirement because it is literally you're just standing, like VillainCon. You're just standing in place on a moving vehicle, holding guns and spraying the windmills and the fire, and then also looks to be maybe spraying the other boats.
ooh, okay.
It looks like there's a little bit of that in there. This reminds me of, I want to say there was a ride like this at Legoland, something like this.
Yeah.
I know we have rides like this everywhere. Like I said, Legoland. I don't think Universal's had one. Maybe they have. I don't remember. Disney, maybe in a foreign park or something, but I can't remember anything specific. But yeah, this looks like a fun time. Fun theming. It looks to be like, I don't want to say cheap, but like cheap theming on purpose because that's part of the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
So it's smart for them. But it's also like it fits in the vibe. It's not meant to be something super large scale. It's
What
just
I
another
love-
thing to do.
What I do love about this is it's the aspect of the artwork, like the way it is visually sort of, it's like a cutout. Like the artistic style of it is awesome, in my opinion. The way it looks, like, yeah, I probably wouldn't do this too many times, but I would definitely go on it maybe once, twice. I mean, the time depending wise, obviously. But it looks like something you can really go around and maybe spectate and see it, which is cool. It's a cool aspect. It might feature maybe some fire elements, maybe. Because you have water, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think I'm wondering how wet it's gonna be compared to the other water rides, because like this is the only water ride at Epic Universe. Obviously, Universal is known for their water rides that get you absolutely soaked. So will this be another entry in that, or will this be something that's a little less, not as much? Will you be able to pay to spray people from the surface? That's a question.
That's a good
like
one.
we have that with Popeye and with Dudley Do Right, man.
Dudley
can't,
Do Right, yeah.
Can't remember. Couldn't remember it for a second. But yeah.
And the Popeye,
So
the ship.
yep, in Bilge barges. So will we be able to have that? I don't know. But either way, looks like a fun time. That's about as much as I could say about this. It looks like a fun
until
time.
we see it in person, and then kind of see. I would be interested in like if it has a really cool nighttime lighting package. That would be kind of cool, because maybe you don't get wet too much. Like you wouldn't want to hop on this at nighttime, but it'd be cool to see. Hopefully, it has some really cool lights on it.
Yeah, with the fire, I think you could do some really fun lighting with it and have it light up, maybe projection work, or maybe just fun lighting in general. Yep.
Like a warm glow, like projection, or like lighting, like orange lighting.
Yeah, because this is meant to take place in the world as if you're training to put out fires for the dragons. Like, it's not meant to be real, like these are real fires. It's meant to look fake. That's the entire point. And that's, I think, why I think you can make it really you can make it kind of cheesy, you can make it kind of silly. I think this will be one that could be like a cult favorite, especially if you go with different people. I mean, it could be fun. It's fun competition aspect. It's got that kind of like Men in Black Villain Con feel where it's like competitive, but also it's has the getting people wet factor too.
So what is it called again?
Fire drill.
Fire drill.
Like the Spitfire grill, which I think it's going to be attached to, just like how the other one is attached to Racers Rally.
Synergy, man. Synergy.
It's spelled the same. The Spitfire is spelled the same way. So I think that's an old Viking, like old English kind of spelling of it.
Yes. And then everyone is coming here for this. Like, this is going to have that Hagrid line. I know
Fire
it.
drill? Everybody's coming from fire drill?
Fire drill. Definitely. This
Hiccup's
thing.
wing gliders.
Wow.
Look at this.
I don't even know what to say about this.
Well, this is I'd say the main attraction of Isle of Berk. It is the one with the most connection to the characters. You actually have Hiccup and Toothless. I wonder if they're going to be maybe in the queue. We do see in the preview center that Toothless is featured on the ride in terms of a statue or an animatronic. That's not, we can't really see it here, obviously, but that is something. We are going to be seeing dragons on the ride, and this flies through the land beautifully. And that's such an impressive, aspect of it. It has that sort of quality where it goes straight up through the land, in and around the structures. You're getting that wonderful, majestic view of everything. And that's what's attracting me so much to this ride. Is just the views, both on and off the coaster. The views you're getting. It does
seem like it. I don't know if it goes through the entire land, but I assume it starts from where you walk in the portal here, and then you see the coaster. If you take a left, you walk right over the top of the bridge scene that goes under. That's crazy.
Under the bridge and around the corner, and then like I said, it looks like it has 3 or 4 show scenes that you actually kind of like Hagrid's, where you might stop for a second and see something, or just fly through and see something. And the idea for this is that you're planning on going on a test flight, but then Toothless wants to make it like a real flight, and then things go, of course, Universal fashion, things go wrong. But it's fun. The one thing that I am very, very, very excited about on this attraction, that it was just confirmed today, is that there will be onboard audio with the How to Train Your Dragon music playing as you're riding this. And that's the one thing I wanted out of this ride. And it's the one thing I kind of wish maybe we didn't get revealed early. Maybe we saw it for the first time while we were on it. But either way, I think it really raises my hype level on it because I love the score for those movies. It's so epic. Literally, I hate to use that word over and over again, but like it is. It's so just big and grand. And I think that would just it's going to be such a big and grand coaster. It literally looks like you said, like the Hagrid's level, and I think this is the coaster people are sleeping on. I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. A lot of people are excited for that Donkey Kong, for that Stardust Racers, for that, for those rides, and those are great.
Yeah.
But like, will this one be that one that is just like the next big family coaster like that? That is a large coaster with a large footprint, but also gives some phenomenal views. Or maybe it's one that kind of misses the mark. But obviously, that's anything in this park. We don't know yet.
Yeah. And also, as we can see in the picture here, like I said with the last one, the nighttime aesthetic to this, because you see the eggs on the right side almost are glowing. So at nighttime, you're going to see all the eggs kind of glowing as you're sliding on by. That's going to look just amazing.
Yeah. Addressing this comment here about from Albert about Universal Hollywood not being for plus size people, I'm hoping that with the new park we have sort of the restrictions are the attractions are designed in a way to where they're not as restricting. I'm hoping. I'm worried that they will be because it is Universal. Universal across the board is known for this. It's not just Hollywood. It's Orlando has that same problem.
Yeah,
and
it is a pet for me. It's a tight one.
It's tight for reasons I don't understand because it is a slow moving omni mover. Same thing with Mario Kart. Mario Kart is
not
as
for
well.
Yoshi or Donkey Kong because we have heard about like Donkey Kong is very tight.
It is restricting. But I hope that for other attractions, at least the ones that weren't designed in conjunction with Hollywood and Japan, that we get to see more standard ride restrictions. And I'm going to say this right here. It's one of the biggest things I think Universal is pretty bad at in terms of designing rides accessible. Like, I get it. Restrictions need to be put in place, especially for bigger coasters. I get it. But for dark rides, for rides meant for families, for coasters that aren't even that big, that is what I'm like, why? And I'm worried about it with Monsters Unchained too, because I know Forbidden Journey is a little rough to get on.
Yeah.
Even if you're someone who isn't maybe as big up top, but maybe you have big thighs. I've seen even big muscular people that are like, I have trouble fitting on this because I am, it doesn't fit my body right. And it's just something that I think is unfortunately is something with Universal that I do not understand, especially in the modern era where Disney is very, very accommodating. Very accommodating. Like, even on the newer rides, Tron is uncomfortable. It's just the way the bikes are designed, but I can fit in Tron fine. Guardians is the most comfortable roller coaster I've ever been on because it literally is just a lap bar. And the seats are not like designed in a way that is so restrictive.
Yeah.
I feel so comfortable in Cosmic Rewind. And that's a ride that is fairly fast. It spins. It has all these motions that, I get it with a ride like Stardust because it is, goes upside down and it is a bigger coaster. I get it with something like that. Even with something like that, though, they should be designed in a way that they are more forgiving of, especially, if people are coming from Disney that are more, obviously accommodating, and you're getting a lot of people coming to Epic from Disney that is used to that coming over here going, oh man, I have trouble fitting on all these rides.
Yeah.
What the hell? So
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's just a rant because like I said, for stuff that for Nintendo, I kind of get it because a lot of those rides I know were built at the same time. So obviously they were designed in the same way. But for the other attractions, I don't think I really think for none of them there is really an excuse to make them the way they do. I hear their reasoning for it, but I still don't fully get it.
And for those who've not gone to Hollywood, Bowser's Challenge, the main Nintendo ride, it is a tight fit too. I mean, I fit on it like comfortably, but it is tight once you put the little racing wheel down, and the way like I think it like almost sits over your legs, right?
I don't remember. I think it's something like that. I don't really remember as much, to be honest with you. 'Cause it's been like a year since I've been. But yeah, I don't know. I think it should be something that is. I think they should have been designed in a way that isn't as restrictive. I'm hoping they are. But yeah, I can't. Short answer to that question, I can't confirm that until we actually go to the park and see. And see which rides are easy to fit on. I think definitely Potter, based on the way those seats are, you should have no problem fitting on those are literal seats. They're like, I know they're not soft like couch chairs. That's something that has been known, that they're not like couchy comfortable chairs, but they are like chairs. It's like a theater like seat almost. So like that, and then Monsters again, I'm worried about, because like I said, Forbidden Journey is, if it's the same vehicle, I assume they're designed in the same way, although I think they should be maybe made a little wider, maybe design them a little wider, but that's just me. That's just sort of guessing at this point. We don't know yet, but anyway, moving away from that.
But this is a must do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very worried, game plan wise, if you're just like, man, I don't have much, you got to start cutting out rides and certain things.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking at that wait time on this.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like that goes down to, I guess, maybe the next part of the stream, if that's what you wanted to go from here, is like game plan. Like, what do you do here? What do you cut? I mentioned before that this land, I'm going to be honest with you, is not the highest on my hype list. Not hype list in terms of I'm not excited for it, but in terms of like game plan, what we're doing first. This isn't the first one I'm going to go to probably. No. Not if I had free reign and they said pick a land you want to go to first, this one's not going to be up there. But that, just being honest, but like I am excited for a lot happening in this land, and I think this land will be one that is shocking people.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that I think Wing Gliders for me is far and away the thing I would wait for. I think that is the thing I would do if I were to pick, even more than the show, even more than the dining, even more than the other attractions. And that's not a surprise. But if I had, a few hours in the park, again, talk about previews, but the way previews are looking. But yeah, if I had a couple hours in the park, this is what I would be doing if I wanted to explore. But I really would probably honestly rather just explore the land than anything else.
Yeah, that's true. I just want to see the flying dragons. Look at that. If I can see the animatronic dart, just like the music, like if they have Vikings walking around, like you said, just exploring and taking the land.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I just noticed that thing flying right there, or like the thing up top. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this land, I think, is going to have so much kinetic energy, and I could say that about a lot of the lands at Epic Universe, or at least this one in Nintendo, seem to have a lot of kinetic energy between the coaster flying around. You have Dragon Racers Rally, you have Fire Drill. These are all visible. The one kind of downside with this land, I'm gonna get the caveat. What happens in Florida almost every day? It rains. 5 attractions we have here, and 4 of them are outside? No. Rally, Fire Drill, and Racers is outside,
Wow.
and
I
the
just
show is inside.
That thought did not even cross my mind.
With Nintendo, I mean Nintendo's kind of that way too, because Donkey Kong and Yoshi's outside, Dark Universe, Werewolf is outside. Potter's the only land that everything's inside. So you have the kinetic energy, but you sacrifice that ability to have indoor stuff to do. Obviously, there are stuff to do, like the show and the
Yeah.
meat hall is all inside, but
Yeah.
like most of this land is going to be outside. So come summertime, when it rains every single day, then you're going to see some downtime for this.
Yeah.
But that's just something to consider with entirety of Epic Universe, that a lot of it is outside. But then again, kinetic energy looks great. The land moves. The land has so much happening. There's so much to look at. But that is sort of the flip side of that part.
Yeah, it's going to be a sight to see. Definitely not on my strong point to go to this park first, or this land. Yeah, but because I'm really thinking, like, we're all about the pizza. So if I'm trying to just decipher what am I doing, like a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then a snack in between those. Maybe that mac and cheese cone is on there, and then the dessert fish. That sounds funny to say, dessert fish. But those two things are probably something I would dip over here to just partake in, along with, like you said, the coaster. Being that the wait is not excruciatingly long. Like I've never waited that long for a ride, but I've waited long for houses, Horror Night houses, but not rides. I generally don't wait, usually above maybe 30-40 minutes for a ride. So it's going to be one of those things where you're just going to have to wait.
You're going to have to suck it up. Well, let me ask you, have you ever been on Hagrid's?
No, still have not been on
Okay.
Hagrid's.
So I'm because that, I think, because I'm curious, obviously, how Express is going to work in this park. We do know that in Japan, and I think also here, I believe Donkey Kong has an Express line. So I'm assuming we're going to have Express at this park, just like we have it at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. So I'm like thinking about the line like this. I think it seems also like, because it's a big coaster, because it's high capacity, they'll be able to move quicker than like other coasters we see in the park, like the Wolfman coaster, like Minecart Madness, like the other ones we see. I feel like this and Stardust are going to be the biggest like high capacity roller coasters. As you could see, it looks like we have, I'm counting it as it's moving. I think it's like 10 to 12 people per car. How many rows do we have?
I think it's about 10
to 12 people per car. Or per train, I should say. 2 people per car. So 10 to 12 people per train. So, you can send out, I could say, like maybe 20 to 30 people at a time, because this is a very long coaster. So just looking at that, we'll have to see how long that'll equate to wait times. But yeah, I think the coaster, it will be something to do here, seeing the land probably more than anything. I think this one will definitely benefit from the daytime versus nighttime. There are some lands that are going to look better at nighttime. Some are going to look better at the daytime. I think this one's definitely going to look better in the daytime.
Yes, and I got to see those infamous the goats or sheeps that hang out on the mountain.
Yeah, the sheep that are everywhere. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I'm excited for this land. I'm definitely going to check it out, obviously. Okay. So yeah, Mr. Dark Universe, Curse of the Werewolf, Monsters of Chain, Burning Blade. So
So it's just Dark Universe.
so for me, that's what I'm looking at personally. I'm like, because I'm like trying to pick out bits and pieces, bits and bobs from each land. Nintendo World, I've already seen.
Yeah.
So that one I'm not putting as very high priority to see it again. I do want to see it, obviously, but like, I'm more putting priority towards Potter and Dark Universe probably, because those are new. But Dark Universe, obviously. But
Yeah, obviously. I did say I wanted to do a all day video, which that would just be crazy to do.
Open
Maybe
to close.
maybe later on when we have more opportunities, but it would be just like a monsters all day video where it's like I come in, I do the full like get some makeup, meet the
Oh, yeah.
monsters and see how they react. Just try to do the
Yes.
whole day like a monsters land. Because I
Yes.
know like people have done this probably in like Potter where it's like you just spend one whole theme park day between the two.
And you get everything. Like, get
Yeah.
all the stuff, do the butterbeer, get robes, get wands, spend a ridiculous amount of money. You got to know that's going to be an expensive day.
Oh, oh yeah. Because the makeup I'm sure wouldn't be.
It'll be what it costs probably at when they did it here. I mean, I'm just being realistic. Berk will be the goat. You know what? I hope that it is. I hope that it surprises people. I hope a lot of people are excited for this, and I want to see. I want to see some love for Berk. I don't want
Yeah,
it
I
to
think
be
it's like you said, it's
forgotten.
going to surprise people. It's, I think people will be. I think they'll think Potter is nice. They'll be like, oh, it's visually it's not great like the land itself because it's Paris. Comparison to Diagon and Hogwarts. So it won't look visually that great. The ride I think will surprise people, but I think this land definitely. A lot of most people are, it's Super Nintendo and Dark Universe are like the top for everybody usually, depending
Yeah.
on it's one of those two. But I think this island will surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Hoping so. I guess now that we're yes, I wanna do that'd be a good idea to do like a full day at Dark Universe, full day in each land, and do the whole, let's let like Tyler from the Pew 2 or some one of those other YouTubers do that.
Yeah.
Let them do that. But yeah, so let's I feel like now's a good time maybe to pivot towards preview talk. What they
Yes.
dropped, the information they dropped about that. Since we're talking about game plans, we're talking about what we're gonna do when the park opens. What about before? What about before it opens?
Ooh,
Where
that's
some folks are getting to check it out early.
a stressful thing right there.
Oh, tell me about it.
I have 2 days so far. So 2 days when the park opens. So in my mindset, that's the 2 days I'm like trying to plan. What am I doing? What am I eating? What am I filming?
Yeah. What are you
And
gonna
then this
cover?
notion out of nowhere today just drops, the team member preview,
Yeah.
which I was like, oh. As I know a bunch of team members, and I am blessed with the opportunity, if it arises, to go to the team member preview when they invite friends and family. No word on when that will be, but it
Yeah.
will be before opening. So I will partake in hopefully going to that and having the
awesome.
opportunity. So I will see at least Epic beforehand. We'll probably maybe hop on a live stream and talk about it because we can't film
Yeah.
as far as we would know so far.
Yeah, no.
We may
Nope.
not be able to film, so I'll just have to go and try to jot down in my brain all the things I want to say.
Everything.
And the preview for team members is what you say 10 to 4, right?
It's 10 to 4. That's the current open hours of Epic Universe for folks that are previewing and just for. I know they're doing mock service previews right now in the park for folks that are already working there. So that's happening. But yeah, it's going to be 10 to 4. So 6 hours. Him and Lush TV. Yeah, get Lush TV to do it. Get him to put the makeup on. Get Lush to Lush. Come on.
He's got to be the bride. I got to be Frankenstein.
He's got to be the
right?
best. Yes.
Yeah, 10. So 10 to 4. Wow.
So 6 hours.
No.
So yeah, couple things about the team member previews. Yes, as Chris mentioned, they are not going to be doing. We have no clue when they're doing friends and family previews. We have no clues about annual pass holder previews. We have no clue about media previews. We just know about the first round of official team member previews for those working at Universal, the main Universal parks.
Yeah.
Don't believe. I don't know if City Walk is included in that or not, or if it's just the Universal parks.
Yeah, because
That
I've seen some comments of people being like, "What about the people that work at the hotel, which is considered third
I'm
party?"
assuming that might be another separate preview. My guess is going to be that March is going to be for team member previews entirely. And then April on will be previews for other folks, annual pass holders, media, if they're going to do it that way. For team members, the first round of team member previews is going to be next week. So that'll be for just team members, and then friends and family will be later on down the line. Again, no dates have been confirmed on that. But yeah, no photos, no videos allowed. It is going to be just experiencing the park, which I like that because I don't want to have to worry about, doing content, doing what am I going to film, this, that, and the third. You can just experience the park. You don't have a bunch of people on their phones trying to fight to get content, people leaking stuff. No need for that. We just have no photo and video entirely. And if you do, you'll probably, face some very severe punishment. So, just don't do it. If you are a team member, if you're coming with a team member, I'm not sure if the rules apply. I would assume they do. So if you're coming, if you're coming on behalf of another team member, yeah. So be responsible if you're a team member or are friends and family and you're planning on coming for an Epic Universe preview. But yes, so without divulging much, I am a team member, so I will be applying come whenever the application opens. I don't remember exactly when. Soon, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's probably going to be a madhouse to apply. But yeah, so I'm curious to see. But yeah, we, one way or the other, believe we both will be seeing Epic Universe before the park opens. So we'll be talking about that. But I guess on the surface, you have 6 hours in the park, 10 to 4. In an ideal world, when everything is open, because that's the thing too with team member previews, annual pass holder previews too, with any kind of preview of anything, you got to account for it. Everything might not be working, everything might not be up and running, lands might be closed, and that's something you just kind of got to accept. That is the reality of the situation. You can't go saying, "Oh, I want to ride Monsters is closed," and then get mad because you are technically partaking in a free preview of this park. So that is just something to know in general. For any kind of preview, if you're an annual pass holder, team member, whatever, just know that. And most people do know that, but it is something that they do let you know. But in the event that everything is working, 6 hours. What are some like off the cuff? Restaurants are open, stores are open. What are some like off the cuff things that you're like, I got to do this? Maybe not in an order because obviously that's a lot harder to nail down.
Yeah.
I'm live working out this, but I haven't even thought about this myself, so I'm thinking about this live with you all.
So definitely walk in.
Yes, walk in. Hopefully we will walk in the door.
Yeah, walk in, take a left.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo World is... It depends on the wait times because I've done Bowser's Challenge. I love the ride. Done it. I don't think it's going to be any difference.
No.
But I still would want to do it.
Sure.
It's a good ride that I can just start with. I don't have to worry.
You already know.
About craziness. I already know it.
You already know what to expect.
See how Donkey is. It might be... but I think it's safe for family, so I don't think it's going to be too crazy.
No.
So I might enjoy that one. But then I know everyone's going to straight to Dark Universe. That's the hard part. So do you try to just do that early, wait as long as you're going to wait, and knock that part out like immediately, and then just say, all right, now I'm just kind of just here to just see what's here.
Mhm.
Like you said, 6 hours.
6 hours, and you're also thinking this is 6 hours during like lunchtime, early afternoon, right?
Wow.
It's not going to be dark out by the time this closes. So just something to think about.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be able to see Dark Universe at night like I want to.
Yeah, not for this preview. Maybe that changes for later on. Maybe for AP previews they change it, or for the other team member previews. But just for this first round, that's the hours we're looking at.
Man. Yeah, because I think I would have to skip out on shows for the
Yeah.
preview, especially like the dragon. What is it called again?
The Untrainable Dragon.
Yes, I think that show is going to be like Born, where you really got to carve out 30,
Like
40
an
minutes
hour.
out of your time. But
Yeah.
between the waiting, if there's a pre-show, just the auditorium, like getting in, sitting for a long show, or at least somewhat of a long show.
Yeah.
So that's going to be carved out. There's little things where unless like the crowds get crazy like we don't know the capacity for this.
Sure.
Little things like meet and greets and stuff that will just have to wait unless everything else is just crazy, and I'm like, well, there's no single riders. And I'm not going to wait 2 hours for monsters. Meet and greets might be an option. Definitely checking out stores. Food wise, that's probably the hardest part for me. Is I'm thinking, like I said, not technically breakfast, because you want to get in and go straight to something. So
You could probably fit two. I'd
a
say
lunch and maybe like
Yeah.
a light afternoon,
yeah, yeah.
right
Like
before
I was gonna
close, like
say
maybe like 2 o'clock or something.
yeah, like a lunch and a dinner, or lunch and a snack, or something,
Probably.
or lunch and a couple snacks, I should say.
But where would I eat? That's the
That's a great question. That's a great question. That's why we're doing this exercise right here.
It's got to be the
Encourage
pizza. Maybe the
pizza.
pizza. It's got to be, because I know so
Pizza.
many people are wondering about that restaurant. I
Pizza.
would want to see it, see what the aesthetics, what the music, how's it visually, what's the pizza like. I'm thinking that one. I don't know. I've already been to Toadstool, so I can't.
Yeah, no need to
I'm
go
not
there.
going to do that. Is there like a snack that everyone's been buzzing about? That's the thing. I
The
don't.
cinnamon bread. You got to get the cinnamon bread
Yes.
from Monsters.
There we go. Thank you. That's why we're
Monster
doing this.
cinnamon bread. Yeah,
Yes.
or the mac and cheese cones that we just talked about.
Yes.
Or both.
It's definitely got to be one of the two. One of the two definitely got to do one of those. Pizza, yeah.
Pizza,
I
pizza.
need that shirt.
Pizza.
That says the moon pizza.
Yeah.
We need a shirt.
Yeah. Make some merch for the restaurants. Anyway. Yeah.
Yes. This
So we
was,
talked.
yeah.
We talked about that throughout. So this will be up on your channel, right, Chris? This is the stream if you missed it.
Oh yeah.
So ride queues.
That's true. Yeah, I wonder if I wonder because
would be kinda
Hogwarts
cool.
has a walking pathway for if you just want to see the queue. I wonder if Monsters will.
I mean, I feel like even if you don't have that, you can always like get in line as if you're going to ride, and then just say, "Hey, I don't want to ride this." Like, yes, you'd be waiting in the line, but like, you get to see the queue, and then you could just say, "Hey, I'm not riding this ride.
They
I'm just gonna
darn
turn around
well
and leave."
better because I'm buying at least one or two more. Just for
I
Epic and
I
one
hope
for
so.
Horror Nights.
It would make sense because it is Universal owned and operated, and that's how those work. Cinnamon bread,
All right, yeah, cinnamon. Roll.
yes. Yeah, those are definitely on my for me. Definitely gonna walk in the door,
Yep.
probably cry a little bit.
Walk past the Chronos and
Yeah,
cry.
probably
stare at
cry. Like take 10 minutes just to be like on my knees, just like we're here, we made it. And then after I do that, once I just take care of that, then I'll be like, okay, now let's get to business. Nintendo, I'm there for one reason only.
You know them, you love them.
Get me on that Yoshi, baby. I'm doing that thing. I'm like, Sit down. I'll be first in line for that. I'm like, I do not care. Put me on that ride. Put me on it multiple times. Get me on there. Like,
Mark, you heard it here, folks. He's
Keep
going to
spinning me
have the
around.
top running.
Yes.
He's going to have the top running
Yes.
Nintendo Power Band.
Yes. Yes, I gotta bring
rides
my
with
band.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the band though? That most
about
people
it?
were saying, like, okay, so if let's say I buy the band here, I
Mhm.
use it at Epic, but then I go to Hollywood, unless they update it. What I read is that you can't, like, you can
Really?
use it over there, but it erases all your stuff because you
Oh.
have to literally reset your stuff to use it over
Oh
there.
man, that
But
sucks.
unless they update it, maybe they should.
They should. Knowing me, I'm gonna buy another one. So like, I'm not even gonna like, because I want the Donkey Kong band because I like that it's that one or the Toad one because I was gonna get that one until they put out the gold one.
Yeah.
I think it's right back there. There it is.
Because they have the
gold
Yoshi
band.
one, right?
Yep, they have a Yoshi
Okay.
one. It's green
The
and it has
Yoshi
the egg
one,
on it.
It has the eggs on the band, right?
I know the Yoshi one. I feel like I would have to get the Yoshi band if I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be the guy with the Yoshi runs. But yeah, Yoshi number one. Obviously try to get into both of the Monsters attractions, one if not both of them. Werewolf Coaster and Monsters
You
Unchained.
won't see Werewolf at night.
No, and that's really when you're going to want to see it. But it is what it is. Like I just experienced it. Attractions wise, I'm gonna say definitely want to try for the Potter ride. That one, obviously, that one isn't obvious. You want to try for the Potter ride,
And
and then
butterbeer crepes.
and butterbeer crepes. Although I'm not really a crepe guy. I'm not really a crepe fan. Like I'm not a huge I've just never really been a crepe fan. But I'll try it out. But that's the one thing everybody's gonna get. But then I would say maybe try for wing gliders if possible. But really the major thing I really just want to see all the lands. That's like a big thing. I just want to see get like one or two good walkthroughs of the land, go in the stores, going around because I think too. In a preview, that might be a better time to do the meet and greets and the Nintendo games because it might not be as busy as during regular hours when everybody's going to be, because those games, if you've been in Nintendo World, them games can be 30-40 minute line just for those.
Yeah.
So that's something food wise. Gotta say pizza. Gotta go to the pizza. Pizza Moon and then
Flying into the moon.
yeah. Pizza Moon, probably, and then cinnamon bread. Pizza Moon and cinnamon bread, or
You're in trouble.
I'm not. I'm just. I don't know. Maybe I need to. You know what? I've never had the Universal crepes, and maybe that is something that I need to do. Take my card away. I know I haven't been to Volcano Bay. I said that in the last stream. I haven't had the Universal crepes. I gotta take my Universal card away. I never want to wait for them. I never want to wait around in the line to get a crepe. I feel like I shocked you, Chris. I feel like you're your jaw's on the ground. But yeah, no, maybe you know what? Maybe the butterbeer one will be that'll bring me back. It'll bring me back into being maybe I
that
do
one and then go to the Universal one.
Yeah, no. That's a lie. I have had one of the Universal crepes. It was a long time ago. I don't even remember what it was. I want to say maybe it was the blueberry lemon one.
Okay, yeah. That's been a regular one.
That
they've
one's been a
always had.
regular. I think it wasn't it was a sweet one. It wasn't the savory one. But yeah, those are Universal crepes. I feel like I gotta give them another shot. I haven't had them in years. But yeah, the pizza, cinnamon bread, or
Uh-oh.
maybe try to sneak into the steakhouse for dinner instead. Maybe try to sneak because let me wait. Is that a quick service? Or is that I don't think it's a table service. I think it's also. I don't think there are any table service
you have
places.
to make reservations for these things.
Do you?
That's a key too. I don't know.
Let me see. Hold on. We're looking. If not there, then the tavern. I want to experience more than one of the. I want to experience one of the actual themed food locations. So it is quick service.
Okay.
It is a quick service.
So I wonder
it doesn't
if it's going
say.
to be like Minions-esque. Is that
I
the
think
way
that
they're
I
doing
think
now
so.
for
Or like
you
3
walk in,
broomsticks.
go sit, order.
I think it'll be like that, or Three Broomsticks, or Leaky Cauldron, where it's like, yeah, it's like a highly themed quick service that doesn't feel like a quick service, but it is. But yeah, I might try to sneak in there instead of maybe doing an attraction. Like maybe because I like really what I want to do, Yoshi, and monsters. Those are my two things. The rest, I don't care. I could do. I could. Potter would like to see some Potter. I would like to see some Potter. Like to see the land. I would like to see that. But those are really the things I'm super hyped on. And of course, like I said, seeing the park.
Yeah.
And
I know
checking
you
out.
were really highly talking about the Potter show. Like,
Yes. Yes.
Really wanting to check that out.
Yes, and I think that's on there too. In the event that, like, let's say the ride's down, but the show's open, I was like, yeah, I would love to check that out. That show, because it's also from what I understand, it's a shorter show than like How to Train Your Dragon and stuff. From what I understand, that Potter show is only like 15 minutes long. It's more like a horror makeup where there's more of it in a day than. Yeah, and it also looks like in the same kind of horror makeup where the lobby is really themed. Like the entrance area is really themed. So that's another cool aspect of it too, where it's not like you go in and then you wait, like Bourne, where it's a line and you're not usually waiting in that line.
Yeah.
In this one, it looks like you're kind of in like a holding area that has stuff to look at. So like horror makeup, where you can kind of just roam around the lobby. I mean, not sure how much you're going to roam with the crowds, but in the idea of like, there's more to it than that. But yeah, I think those are sort of my game plan items. I think if I were to say where I'm going first, depends on that monster's wait time. That really is a factor. That monster's wait time.
Like, monsters is down right
now. Oh yeah,
now,
if it's down, then I'm like, Yoshi, y'all get ready for me.
You can always count on Yoshi.
Yoshi should work. It's a slow moving dark ride. It's not a highly intense thing. Say, get me on that right now. Get me on it.
Make me that T-shirt that says "I came to Epic just for Yoshi."
Yeah, just wear the Yoshi. Get like one of those shirts just with big Yoshi face on it, and just sit there. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Get one of like the little sodas they have in Nintendo World, and just sit there and just like, just lounge. Yeah, for like a good 5 minutes until the ride's over, and you have to get off and get back in line. But it is what it is.
One thing I am thinking about that you were talking about Yoshi. And you already have, obviously, a band. I am wondering, are we going to be able to purchase those soon, like before Epic? Because I don't want to, if I brought one, it'd be cool to already have it before I stepped in for the preview or, but I feel like that's one of those things where they keep holding off, even though, like, they have them to sell. They just haven't introduced them yet.
I don't know if they dropped them early in Hollywood, like if they dropped them beforehand, because I know. So my guess is that we are going to be getting, maybe if we don't get them before the park, and this is all based on this guess. This is not any kind of like, we don't know. I would think if they're to get that store open a little early before Epic opens, if that would be a great place to kind of debut them. They have been debuting new Nintendo merch as they've been expanding to places beyond just the preview center, like Islands of Adventure. Studios doesn't have one yet, but Islands of Adventure currently has a really big and nice Epic display with new merch. The merch they sell in Hollywood that they don't have, they didn't have here quite yet. So my guess is that it'll just either show up on one random day. They're like, oh, now we're selling power bands. Or once people start going. Because, like, the thing is with Epic Universe or with Nintendo World, they don't make it hard to get those magic... I call them magic bands. Power bands. You can...
Machine, right?
Yeah, you throw a rock and you'll hit a store that has a power-up band in there. So, yeah, I assume because they're going to have the Nintendo store in Celestial Park... I'm assuming they're going to have the vending machines over there in Nintendo World. From what I've heard of Hollywood, they don't really work. But, which I would love to... Because I bought mine... When I bought mine, I bought it in the main studio store. That was literally the first thing I did when I walked into Universal Studios Hollywood. I got early entry. And I'm like, I'm going to get here. Because I thought that freaking gold band was going to sell out. They still have it. They still have it over a year later. But I thought it was going to sell out. So I was like, I'm getting this now. And also just like that. So I could have it when I go to the land. Because one of the things that, and I'm going to recommend this for anybody doing EPA, early entry in Hollywood, previews. Anybody who's going to Epic Universe and has a chance to get in Nintendo early, do not run to the rides. Go to the games, because the games will fill up. Get your fill of the land before it becomes wall-to-wall people. Try out all the little interactive bits and bobs. Hit the question block. Get those coins. Go to the games. And get to the point where you can do, if you want to do the Bowser Jr. boss, do that stuff there versus waiting until, oh, I did Mario Kart, I did this and that and the third, and now it's packed, and now you're still waiting an hour in line for those games. That's just my recommendation for anybody. Like, if you're doing EPA, it's just like doing the wands at Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like, yes, your brain is going to send you straight to the rides. And I get it. If you have to prioritize one thing over the other, yeah. But if you're coming for multiple days, if you're a pass holder, or if you're someone who lives around, do that. Make that a point. Like, that's something that I'm thinking about. Like, that's why I mentioned with the meet and greets. With those things being like, those things might have less of a line. At least this is more for like EPA talk when the park opens, and people are gonna run to Stardust Racers, they're gonna run to Mario Kart, they're gonna run to Donkey Kong, and what you are gonna be doing, other than running to Yoshi's Adventure, you're gonna be going to the Mario Super Nintendo World and doing the power up games, because you are big brain and you know that those are gonna get a long line. But that's just me. That's just what I would be doing. And I wouldn't get off Yoshi's Adventure, so let's make that known right now. But
just Yoshi.
yeah. See? I know. She knows what I'm talking. Knows what we're talking about.
The new hotel opening. What they did with Stella Nova was had new Epic merch. So
Yes.
that could be a thing that opens
Yeah.
next month towards the end. Maybe they release more stuff by then. So it could very well be, or it could just be the same merch that's in Stella Nova. But I'll be interested to see.
I figure it will be the same merch we see, because that's a lot of the new merch we're seeing at Islands and Preview Center. Although, interestingly enough, it's not all of it. Like the pins, the Monsters Mystery pins, a lot of the other pins, and the Monsters, the lanyard, the ID holder, all that stuff is all only at Stella Nova right now.
Wow.
It's not available. But I'm curious to see if we're going to see the magic, I keep calling them magic bands, the power bands coming to, like, maybe with Terra Luna, we see those make their way to the preview center, make their way to the store, make their way to the hotel gift shops, to where like that people can buy them and get them early. So when that opens, because that's my thing too, is will we even have access to those in previews? Because obviously those things are still working.
Yeah.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't. That's just a question. We don't know. We might be able to just buy those and use them, or they might be like, hey, you got to wait till this park opens before you can do this. This is more focused on the rides and the shows. We don't know, but that is something worth considering. Also, Albert, yes and no. I don't know if you were here when Chris mentioned it, but they do seem to be a little finicky with the app, and yes,
I think they will. You just have to reset, like basically erase your data and start it as a brand new.
Yeah.
Because it's generally tied into the Universal Studios app, right? Like the Hollywood app, and then you have the Orlando app. I think it's just one band tied to
one app.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, I had to make a new account when I bought tickets for Hollywood versus Orlando, where I have my Orlando account. And I know with Disney,
is weird, but
it's weird, but hopefully with them doing everything as destination and experiences, hopefully we maybe get like a joint thing where we can have one account for both. But I think that's why, because they're tied to different accounts, because it's the same thing with Disney, and keep going back to Disney, but like with now I'm calling theirs the power bands, the magic bands, the Disney ones. You cannot unlink them once they're already linked to a person on an account. They cannot be changed. That's why you can't. They're not like worth anything. Once you use them, they're not worth for other than for display purposes, unless they haven't been used. Once they're used, they're linked to your account forever. That's how they were, at least when I last checked. I don't know if they changed that recently, but it is something worth knowing that I think it's a very similar thing. It's like once you link it, it can't you have to factory reset it basically for it to be unlinked, which I don't have a lot of data on mine, so like I could use it, but also like I don't want to get mine dirty or anything. Like that's the special gold one, and I know if they are doing like I want like a basic one, like one of the basic ones. If they are going to do a star one, that would be kind of cool. I would love to see them do like.
That would be cool, yeah.
I think it would be kind of cool to have an exclusive one for Epic, kind of like how they do with the wands, where they have exclusive ones for each park. Or they just started doing that recently, where they have exclusive like. I know with the custom ones they've been doing, Wands from Other Wizarding Lands. They have exclusive ones, like one's exclusive to Orlando, one's exclusive to Hollywood, I think one's exclusive to Japan. So I think it would be cool if they had like a cool design that may be related to what we have in the park. So like us, we have all the same stuff as Japan, but we have like the Chronos and the Celestial. So maybe that's what it is. Like it's like kind of tied to that more than it is to anything else. But yeah, I think that would be really, really neat.
Yes, I'm eagerly awaiting getting one. I'm not eagerly awaiting the cost on top of all the other costs. But
I'm sure that you will be able to use your discount too. So like that'll help a little bit. Your pass holder discount or team member discount or whatever you have. You have a discount with Universal Orlando. I know that it works on the current Epic Universe merch, so I don't know why it wouldn't work on the bands. Maybe the special ones. Like I know that I don't think that one had any discounts on it, which didn't matter because I didn't have I was just going for as a visitor to Hollywood. But
do you mean Helios? Helios?
I'm
Helios.
I'm not staying anywhere on opening weekend. I'm staying at
Negative.
home on opening weekend. But there will be folks that will be, and that's great. Let them do their stuff. It's just for me, even if I didn't want to, even if I had the money to spend on that, I'm trying to get Horror Nights opening weekend locked in. That's its own beast of a hotel booking that I am doing right now.
Maybe this will be the opportunity to do alternative video to what everyone else does and go like how to experience Epic the cheapest route that you can go. It's just to visit Helios, stare outside the window at the park, go maybe to the front where the Chronos is and stare at that.
Be like go to Stella Nova and peer up against the windows to get every angle. Watch the videos on YouTube. Do we think Epic Super Nintendo will get the gold band after a year? I wouldn't see why not, because we got it in Hollywood after a year, we got it in Japan after a year.
1 year.
So I don't know why we wouldn't see that. I wonder if we're gonna get one for like a 5-year. Like, will we get another band? I would love like a sparkly, like a diamond one. That would be kind of cool, like a shimmery one. But yeah, I think we'll see that one.
It's such a vast world of Nintendo
So
that they can do. They can do like the Rainbow Road. They
could do so many variants.
Luigi's Mansion.
Don't even say that. Don't say that, because then it'd be like, oh, we're giving them ideas, and be like, yes, we have a notepad. Like, yeah, keep going. So I'm having a hard time deciding which one do I get the Donkey Kong one because it's green and brown and it has bananas on it. Do I get the Toad one because I love Toad and it's got like the polka dots? Do I get Yoshi because it's my boy? Like,
also in the preview, do you buy merch? Like, do you wait for that last 30 minutes the park is open because you don't want to carry the merch around? Obviously, if you buy a couple different things.
Yeah. That's
Are you just like, man, all right, the last 10 minutes, the park is open for another 20 minutes. Let me run over to the other store.
Let me get I'm think if it is a possibility, if they have something cool, then yeah, if they have exclusive stuff that they don't have out yet and that I want to get, because obviously it's meant for, only the people doing it. I do not try to resell that merch, but like, it would just be for me anyway. It'd be like, yeah. And I also would love to get a little like memento of my time, like getting to like be like, I bought this on the preview day. I have a pin from Galaxy's Edge when I did a preview for that. Wow. And it was like, and it's one of my favorite pins. It's not like an exclusive pin or anything. It's just like a pin that reminds me of when I got to preview that land. And so I assume that it will be, because they just like they need to train the ride techs, they need to train the people in the restaurants, they need to train the people in the gift shops. So just like anything. Yeah, gold power. I only used it. I used it in the beginning of the day for the gold band, and then I put it away, and it was in my bag.
Safely.
Well, because it was raining, and I was like, I don't want to get this thing wet. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to have any. This is a very cool souvenir. I still have the box. I still have the map. A lot of people don't know they come with maps, like the wands do. They have a map in there of the land, and it shows you how to use it and everything. And you wouldn't know that unless you dig in the box. Took it out and then went, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so
I definitely got to get those cinnamon snacks, cinnamon bites.
Which one do you get? Which band would you be getting, Chris? If you were to pick from the regular kind of options, I know they have. I think they have Mario, Luigi, Toad, Peach, Daisy, Yoshi, and then they're doing, I believe. I believe they're also doing Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now. So, man,
which one would you guys go with in the chat? If you have any specific questions. Also, for right now, for annual pass holder previews, we don't know what that's going to look like. We have no clue.
Pass holder previews.
Yeah, we have no clue. That is just something we just have. Nobody knows that one. Donkey Kong, that one might be the one I get, because green's my favorite color, and it's green, and it's Donkey Kong. I'm super excited to see Donkey Kong. And it has Donkey Kong is on the sleeve.
What?
If you look at the full picture of the wrist, same thing with Diddy Kong. Wow. So Yoshi and Toad are basically the same. It's just that Toad is multicolor polka dots, and Yoshi is green and orange polka dots.
Huh.
Wario band. I wish. So wish they made a Boo Power band. Oh, that would be sick too. A purple one.
Dark.
Yeah, black and purple. That would be incredible. We need that, actually. We don't have a Bowser one, do we? I don't believe we have a Bowser one either.
No Bowser one.
Yeah, I like this. I like these. There's so many good ones. That's the problem. Oh, here we go. We got a picture. Yeah.
I feel like Mario is just going to be, everyone's going to get Mario.
Classic. It's the classic one.
It's going to be. Maybe Toad, but I would be worried the white. Like I said, the white. I don't know what the material is. It's just
rubber.
Like a watch band, almost.
It's like a thick rubber. It's like if you've ever had a slap bracelet, it's like those.
Okay. Maybe that Toad or Mario.
The Toad one I like because it's I also like the icon in the middle.
Yeah.
And then
Toad. You can't go wrong with Toad.
Toad's my favorite.
He's one of the highlights of the land.
Toad. Yeah. That's why Toad is on the Yoshi ride. It's Toad and Yoshi. Those are the two that I'm like, yes. Andy the meet and greet, and I'm sure the Yoshi meet and greet that's coming to Hollywood is going to be incredible too. I hope we get that eventually with Nintendo.
Yes. Oh, getting some comments in. Did you get invited to meeting? Wow, there you go. I didn't know
Unfortunately.
that. I haven't seen anybody reveal the date quite on that yet. Me, no.
No, I didn't get invited either. Yep. It's okay. I don't need to get invited to media. I'm not pushing for media.
Yeah. Give me that ghost one that glows in the dark.
Yeah, that's the perfect one for us spooky folks. Dark Universe bands, no, but I hope they have some kind of interactive item. I think that would be kind of cool because I feel like every land's got one except for Dark Universe.
Because with the thing we've always read with Dark Universe is the villagers. How you're supposed to walk into it's not the steakhouse, but the other one.
The Burning Blade.
Burning Blade that there's supposed to either be characters that walk around and talk and stuff. And then there's people in the village itself that are playing like music. So I think that's going to be the closest we get to interaction, unless there's something else they haven't introduced to us yet. Maybe like a Monster Hunter type of thing. That would be kind of cool.
I think it's more gonna be like cosplay, because the thing is, a lot of the merch I think is gonna have a cosplay factor to it, and I think that we'll see that with like the makeup experience and the whatever merch stores we're gonna have. I hope we get some good, like I said, some interactive, like some relics or something that you can carry around. Maybe a band, maybe a necklace, maybe something you can, like like the Knott's lantern, something cool that other than the $85 figurines, something good that we can like take in the land and actually experience. Yeah, Not Scary Farm can have a lantern. Why can't we have one? Why can't Halloween Horror Nights have a lanyard? Why can't Dark Universe have a lanyard? We need some, or not lanyard, a lantern, something like that. Some kind of interactive.
Yeah.
Maybe that comes later. Maybe if the demand's high enough, they maybe incorporate something into the land that can be later on. If we don't see it right away, but hoping for some good merch all around.
That's true. Me as well.
Let's see.
I just want a shirt, maybe.
I just want a shirt.
that that Pizza Moon.
There you go, bro. Pizza Moon shirt. Well, I'm just looking to see what kind of gift shops we have at Dark Universe. Let me look and see real quick, because I know we have the Pretorius. The Pretorius store is going to be where the Monsters experience is. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'll be able to find the names for the gift shops. So we have Pretorius Scientific Oddities, that sounds like something where you can get some interactive stuff there. But yeah, that would be pretty cool to see. But hoping we have some good merch. The merch, I liked it. There's some stuff I really like, some stuff I really don't. But it is what it is. I like the comic stuff they did with the Monsters merch. That was it's just my aesthetics, my favorite aesthetics, comics and horror comics and classic monsters. So I was like, yeah, I am all over this. But I'm hoping the merch isn't too good. I don't want it to be too good, because then I don't have any money, and that's already going to be an issue with Epic. But yeah. So, anybody have any sort of any other thoughts, opinions, questions on Epic stuff? I know we're going on about a little over 2 hours here.
Any last bits?
Last little questions. Well, you let them come in. But yeah, I think those are my sort of bucket list items. And I'm curious to see once we do once we all experience the park again, doing another one of these streams.
It's gonna be interesting, because we'll have maybe different routes, different experiences. Maybe you
100%.
saw something I didn't.
Yeah, maybe something was down when you're not there.
For me to look forward to next time, or you tried a snack that I didn't.
Yeah.
Or we both tried some similar things, and we can inform the people what we think.
Yeah, and that's why I'm excited about the no filming thing. I know it's kind of weird, because you're counterintuitive when you're shooting video content, you want to have video, but you're going on word of mouth. So you're going on my experience, or your experience, or any other experience of any other team member or friend of a team member. Again, something might be down, something might be broken, something might be working, something might be sold out, something might be fully stocked. Again, it's going to be very different, and everybody's going to have their own opinions. And I can't wait to see what the varying opinions are of this park, because so much is exciting, and so many people are looking forward to so many different things. But yeah.
There you go. When do you think they're going to do
The 28th. I think it'll be the
Yeah.
same thing.
It's
That
gonna
they,
be the same
I
if
think
they
it'll be
did it.
Tuesday. They do the team member preview, and then that Tuesday, and then that Thursday will probably be the premium night if they do it again.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. This is exactly what.
So I have said this before. Very briefly, they had NECA exclusive park monster figures for a very, very, very short period of time. Like I wanted to say like a week in the parks at All Hallows Eve. It wasn't like they were sold. I know people who bought them. I did not. I stupidly did not buy them. I should have bought them. I was going to, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get these. They are based on the Basil Gogos, like sort of famous monsters of Filmland paintings with that really bright, crazy colors. They're the same figures we have, just with that updated paint job. And so I wonder if those are maybe we're meant to go to Dark Universe and we're like, oh, we put them out early, or if those were just something we're not fully released yet. I would love to see better figures, better NECA would be preferred because I love how their figures are and I think they're pretty decent for the price. Better than the ones we got because the ones we got are pretty sad for how much they are. Just my opinion though. They were I know you're saying exclusive. They were very, very limited run. Like literally there are only a couple. Maybe they were glow in the dark. They're not like the glow in the dark ones they sell at like Target. They're like their own where they had Universal Studios at the bottom. They were very, very short lived. I have a picture of them. And I might post it one day and be like, hey, remember these? But yeah, there's a picture of them. Let me see. We can go to the next question.
Is there a reason why the Shop Universal Orlando store still only has the preview merch? My best guess is because Stella Nova was brand new and it's the one that's across from the park. They wanted to put most of the like newer merch there to kind of generate the buzz. We have people kind of visiting the hotel to obviously shop there or check out some of the merch. Some of it has gone to the preview center a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, Dylan has said some of the Nintendo stuff has come over there, like the Donkey Kong stuff that was first at Stella Nova is now there.
It is
so
there.
It will kind of just get there every so often. They might just bring a little more in, a little more. We don't know exactly the date of the preview center too. We don't know how long that's going to stay when Epic is open. So maybe they also don't want to just throw all the merch there because they still have the previous merch. So it's kind of that catch-22.
The merch that looks, I think, rather generic is just preview merch. Just like with HHN. They put out preview merch that's exclusively preview. We'll see. It might bleed into the park, like, if they have enough of it. But then I think once it sells out, it sells out. I don't think they bring it back. So, also, Chris, I sent you a link with the pictures of those figures if you wanted to throw them up here. But, yeah, I think that I think with merch, it's more than one wave. I think it's not just going to be one certain wave. That's why I like the Dark Universe shirt. I like that shirt a lot. The basic preview shirt with the picture of the monsters on it. Just said Dark Universe, just like this one. This one too. I think this one's another preview one that like they sold this. They have different versions of this shirt, but like other than the preview, I didn't really see this shirt around. So I have a feeling it'll be another one that once it sells out, this is it. Like they're not going to make any more just like this. They probably make some similars, but not the same. But yeah, should be getting photos of those exclusive. I don't know if they're exclusive though. That's the thing, is they were very, very short. They were released around the holidays.
I can't believe they even let that out. That's crazy.
I don't know if it's something they were supposed to be let out or if it was like something they didn't like. I have no clue what happened to them. I don't know if they were super limited run or what happened. But they were out. They were out in the parks for more than one day. They weren't pulled immediately, because I remember seeing them a couple different times. And like I said, I took pictures of them because I was like, oh, this is sick. I'm going to get these next time I come to the park. And then the next time I came, they were gone. From what I understand, they've only been at Orlando, and it was only 2 figures. It wasn't, they didn't do a whole line yet. Maybe this is something to come. This is something that was released early, but it is something that was out there. But yeah.
Where is it?
I should have sent you a link with the pictures in there. I don't know if you got it or not. But
Oops. That is
that's not the image. That is an image, but it's not the one we're looking for. But yeah, I'm curious to see what the merch is gonna look like. You've been doing this for over 2 hours. I'm glad to see you love doing this still. Live streaming? Yeah, I love live streaming. I think it's fun, and especially when I don't have to worry about the network. I don't have to worry about setting it up. I'm just the guest. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's put all the pressure on me.
No, because yeah, I know that you have more folks come to your streams, and my network can't handle it. I'm like, if I try to invite, my computer would crash out. I wouldn't even have it. But yeah, 2 hours. Yeah, we're just chatting. That's the thing with these streams, that I feel like we're just chatting,
Where are you?
talking.
Monsters.
Yeah. Will you guys be going with Losh? Eventually, I'm sure we will be going with Losh. Not sure if that'll be during any kind of preview time or if that'll be once the park opens. But yes, Losh is not being excluded from Epic Universe. He has not been banned yet. So I say yet. I don't know what he's a wild card sometimes. So I don't know what he's gonna do. But yeah, Losh is looking forward to the future of the parks after Epic Universe. The lands will plan after the success of Dark Moon Berk, specifically Nintendo. I'm hoping for some more Nintendo. I'm hoping that you guys out in Hollywood get some monster stuff. Maybe not a Dark Universe land, but like some kind of monsters attraction. I would love to see like something. I would love to see you guys get a cool monsters experience on the studio tour, because I know like obviously you go through Little Europe and that's the iconic set. But like, imagine if like a character came out, like Frankenstein started running after the tram or something.
Yeah.
Or like some kind of experience. I mean, we know that Fast and Furious it's closing in March. Final day. Goodbye Cookie Puss. Like it'll be out of the shed a tear. That's a whole nother can of worms, is what they're going to do with that space. If they're going to just do another screen thing, if it's going to be, I would love to see, I know they've talked about bringing this IP to the parks recently. I think it'll be a good place for Wicked. It could be a good way to soft launch Wicked and give Wicked not a full attraction, kind of like what you did with Fast and Furious in the first place, kind of giving it a little teaser. But if they were to do Wicked, I would love to see them maybe do a full set piece thing and not have it be like a screen. I know a lot of people want to see Dark Universe in Hollywood. I don't know if they do it exactly the same, just for the fact of Universal likes to keep things exclusive to parks so that people go and visit said parks, not redoing the same rides over and over. But I do like Chemo Dog's idea of them doing a different Dark Universe that's maybe not based exactly on like Frankenstein Village. I would love to see like a Transylvania, like you're going inside of maybe into Dracula's castle instead. That would be something. Or we have that or whatever else. So that's just a potential I think could be really cool. Paris, we saw them go to Paris at Horror Nights, so I mean that could be a place for them. Or even this, like, more generic, like the Little Europe kind of vibe they have at the studio tour. I would love to see. I would love to see a land at Hollywood. I just don't think they would do Dark Universe as we have it, unfortunately, just because, like I said, they like to keep things exclusive. But I would like to see something like that. Dracula versus Van Helsing or Phantom of the Opera ride. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Mummy got a coaster. Yeah. Well, yeah. Or maybe like bring over there, kind of bring back something like the House of Horrors, where it was like an, all year long haunted house, Monsters Haunted House. I mean, you're getting it in Vegas, but like, if you want to have it in the park, maybe something like that. Maybe it's an attraction mixed with that, like Terror Tram-esque, where part of it's a ride, part of it's into. I don't know. That's just throwing out ideas at that point. But yeah, I think I think the monsters need to go to Hollywood. I think Hollywood needs something for the classic monsters, definitely, especially if they're planning on bringing them back with Epic. If you're having trouble, it's okay.
It will not let me do this. I don't understand this.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. It's not that serious.
It's universal.
They're like,
Somehow,
no. We're not showing them off. But yes, they are. I will say for y'all, they are out there. If you look hard enough, they're out there. There were pictures taken of them. So in the event that you will just want to see what they look like, they're out there. But yeah, classic monsters. We need them. Are we gonna do an episode on Dark Universe?
Oh man, that is
that's his own 4-hour extravaganza. 2 hours on each ride live stream.
big one. I guess we would have to. Yeah, I was gonna say it just depends on.
Depends
how
on when we
quick
see it.
If we
Yeah.
get to see it, then there won't be a pre.
There'll be no need for a pre-play. Yeah, this might be the final. I mean, hopefully, if all things go according to plan, this will probably be the final bit of stream before one or both of us sees the park. So again, which is an insane thought that starting on Saturday, many more teams, like it's going to be basically the first real look into the park outside of people that work there, just at Epic Universe. That's insane to me. That come, by the end of next week, we'll have tons of people who have already been to the park, experienced it. Just like, and then, I mean, we're less than 3 months from this thing opening. Grand opening.
Dang, that's crazy.
Less than 3 months away from grand opening. Where does the time go? Last time we looked, this was a plot of dirt on the ground, and they just announced they were going back to construction in 2021 or 2022.
Wow.
And now it's like almost done.
That'll be like, man, we got that. We have some random maybe Horror Nights announcements still coming.
Probably, yeah. We need some announcements for that, but
some more stuff on Vegas is going to be soon announced
Sure.
at some point in between the opening. Then you got single tickets dropping with probably an announcement for Horror Nights. The store opening up in City Walk for the expansion.
oh my gosh. And then
Then there's probably so much more that they haven't announced Fast and Furious closing on our end. What's going to be coming from Rip Rocket?
yeah, I said Rocket closes in September. Fast and Furious closes in March. Fast and Furious opens again in sometime next year. So yeah, this year's still got so much
FanFest,
cooking.
Which
Fan Fest,
wow.
and also like Volcano Bay Nights is happening soon. There's so much that's happening. Like I feel like with Universal, we don't even get a week to breathe normally. Now it feels like everything. Like just last week, it was Horror Unleashed stuff. The week before that, it was probably something else. I don't remember. But that now, Horror Unleashed, boom. Dragon details and preview, boom. And Fast and Furious closing announcement. Just in the last like 2 days.
Yeah.
That
And
is
Wicked a part of the fan fest.
Wicked a
And
part of FanFest, and the fact that they've said they want to make Wicked. They're already working on Wicked attractions somewhere. We don't know what that's going to look like, but they already said it's in the works. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's a crazy time to be a Universal fan. It's a crazy time to be theme park fan in general, but like specifically for Universal, because it's just like Universal's got so much cooking all the time.
Yep.
Hoping that Supercharge goes soon. I just went on it last week. Again, I went with Losh.
You were trying to go just to get that major suites, you know.
Yeah, I was like, the only time I'm ever waiting this long is for a house that's in here. But I could hear his voice. Major Sweets Candy. Like I heard it in my ears as I was walking
Hurry
through.
up, chaperones.
Yeah, I was like, when you go in the queue and you bank left through that other room, I'm like, no, just let me in there. Let me open the door. It's okay, I'll open it. Like I'll get in there and open it. But yeah, I went on again not too long ago, and it's just as bad as I remember. It's sensory overload. Some interesting effects in there. Some funny lines. The people that are in the improv characters,
The cube.
they're funny. They're great. You know, love them. But everything else is like, just you know, I don't know what to say about it. But yeah,
I think they will leave it open for a little while though.
especially because they're not going to have it anymore in California. That we're gonna have the honor of being the only park with Fast and Furious Supercharged, which is a true honor.
Which means when TLEV comes and visits for Horror Nights, we're gonna be like, you gotta do Fast and Furious during the day, man.
Cool. October, fun. You get to do horror. Well, I'm hoping you do Horror Nights and Epic. That'll be fun. 25
Yeah,
years.
let us know. Are you planning to do like a day, day at Epic and then Horror Nights? Is that the reason why you're coming down in October?
Yeah.
Kind of the best of both.
Yeah. 2025 year of Universal. I don't think it's just 2025, my friend. I think it is beyond. 2025 is just the beginning, I think.
That is just the start
of the craziness.
The coaster is like.
But yeah, it's exciting.
Oh man, you ready?
I'm not ready. I think today has proved that I'm not ready because I'm sitting over here editing my hype list. I'm like, oh, I still got some time until I have to think about this, and then now I'm like what? It's actually happening. Like, let me actually lock in, pay attention. But that being said, hype list video is coming soon. That should be coming tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow
so
or
you all
Thursday.
have a treat. There you go. We have a live stream right now that you guys enjoyed.
Yeah. If 2.5 hours wasn't enough, I will be talking about it more in a video. And I think because of everything, I think I might have one more video after that before, if I can squeeze it out, if I can make it happen. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I put the pieces together today. I'm like, can I make this work? Will I be able to turn this around before anything happens?
Yeah.
But we'll see. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it doesn't, it'll be after. It's still relevant. It's still relevant. But yeah. I think that's it from me. I've said everything I need to say.
We have talked about the sheep. We talked about the dragons.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Yoshi.
Pizza. Yeah. In this house, we love Yoshi.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for coming on Dreamport. People seem to love the combo. Thank you to everybody. Who was in the comment
for doing
section
it
and kept us going. Thank you for all the support. Make sure to check out Dreamport's video, as he said, dropping tomorrow.
Tomorrow or Thursday. Okay. But probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow or Thursday. So
tomorrow or Thursday. Soon.
Check that out. And
next couple
of course, this probably won't be the last live stream, obviously. We'll probably have another one when we both are saw Epic
Yeah.
during our
Epic
preview.
or Epic
Pizza
or
movie.
Horror Nights until Horror Nights. Horror Nights will throw it in the mix too. They'll be like, "Hey, remember us? We're here."
Yeah, yeah. We gave one Epic. Now we do a Horror Nights one. So
Epic and Horror Nights. So,
well, thank you all for tuning in. That
course.
has been it for a long live stream. Hopefully, this gives you plenty of stuff to watch us fumble and fool over all the mistakes and talk
Yes.
about a NECA figure that you can't
Yes.
see.
That I can't see. That you can see, but you can't see it here.
All right, folks. Thank you. Peace out. Have a good night, everybody. We are out of here.
Are we not live anymore?